ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. That account, I believe, is real. I've watched it for a long time, and he says a lot of really provocative stuff there that has definitely caught my attention on many, many occasions. I've heard this briefing many times. Incredibly, incredibly sad, but probably a lot more than just what it looks like on the surface. If you don't really see what's going on here, this might not make sense. Galaxy, the alchemy of Jesus Christ, is that you will become like him. John 14:12. As I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. Cognitive abilities, psychic abilities, telepathy, seeing the future, all of these things are rolled in with that concept. So when we're looking at the possibility of liberating ourselves from the suffering that so many people have, it ultimately comes with the understanding that you cannot die. You cannot die. You are not threatened by anything. You have nothing to worry about. And this whole entire world, as traditional as it seems to be, is actually a reality construct. That's the awakening. That's why people have a hard time seeing something that, oh, it's so simple. Why can't they see it? It's such an easy thing to understand. No, it's a paradigm shift. It's coming to realize that everything you ever thought was true in your life is a frickin' lie. You were lied to about every single thing. There are satanic communities where everybody's in on it. It's the YMCA, it's the bank.
My goal actually is to only talk for 1 hour today. And it's very clear that there's something going on. When I get into a slide mode, I get very amped up. I just rode the train all the way out here through the most horrific, 2 days of not sleeping from New York to Colorado. Oh my God. We're off to a lame start here. You've apparently decided that I'm still a worthwhile human being in your eyes and not someone just to be scorned and hated. See what we can do with a nice satanic halo. Wouldn't that be interesting? Words you probably don't want to say. Yeah. Do you realize how hard I'm working for you? This takes effort. This causes me to sweat. And so if you can't appreciate that, it really hurts my feelings. And I think we need to talk about it because they don't want you to know that you are a creator being, that you have godlike powers.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are back, and it appears that the ridiculous, crazy heat has abated, so I've got another week where we can actually use my office. Maybe a little longer. We'll see how it goes. We've got the air here, which gets blasted for several hours before the show to try to cool it down in here. I'm hoping that we get another week or two. We just did an incredible amount of spring cleaning in my entire house. But unfortunately, a lot of stuff got thrown in the garage, and that's where I'm going to be broadcasting from when this heat in this attic like office here gets a little too much to handle. So we're back because David Wilcock is back yet again. And by the way, I just want to thank my incredible guest tonight, Tere Joyce, who's not here. I think she might have got drunk or forgot. It's one of those two, or maybe she'll be along soon. Being fashionably late is the hallmark of every good woman. After all, we welcomed Terry Joyce, by the way, to the show tonight because she is very close to a major milestone for her. For those unaware, Terry Joyce is a comedian and she's a commentator. She's also a journalism student. She went back to school she's trying to get a journalism degree, and she's improving her own. She's a great content creator already, but I think this education is good for her. And I'm proud of her. We wanted to help her get over the hump tonight. So even before, boy, she better get here because I'm doing this. And if she doesn't show up after I do this nice thing, yeah, she'll be here. I'm sure she'll be here. I think she's probably tied up with homework or something like that. So, all right, you know what? I'm going to wait until she gets here to put the link to her YouTube into the live chat. And she's very, very close to the magic numbers, which will let her become monetized and will help her create more content, excellent content. She already does good content. She deserves to be paid a couple of bucks, maybe gets a couple bucks in the till. She might need a laptop, headphones, better microphones, whatever she needs, webcams. We got to try to help her get to the magic money numbers tonight. And we are going to be, of course, talking about David Wilcock. We want to thank My Flock is Everywhere for two things: being a member and a kind and generous 99-cent super sticker. Love to see it. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and continual support of the show. There was one more in here that I saw. Oh, that's from you as well. My Flock is Everywhere. Again, with a kind and generous $1.49 super sticker. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support 3 times. 2 super stickers and becoming a YouTube channel member, which is one of the best ways to show your support. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, so Crypto Crusader is here and says, "Welcome, Terry. Plenty of wacky Wilcock material to flex your comedic chops tonight." Yes, and I see she's in a green room here. She's in the back room. They're sobering her up. They're throwing coffee down her throat. Put some clothes on her. She wasn't wearing a bra. Jesus Christ. All right, this is the quality of the show that we have here. We want to thank Zizix for a kind and generous $5 super chat and for being a kind and generous member. We're praising the cash right out of the gate tonight. Thank you all for helping us as we praise
the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yeah, and by the way, I got some bad news. The Cash Clown wants a raise. I don't know. He's hitting me up. We're trying to negotiate new bumpers right now, so we'll see what happens. But we do have Terry Joyce. She made it here. She showed up, which I'm proud to see. So yeah, they I don't know, slap some makeup on her. They said she looks like she just went on a 4-day bender, right? Yes, so Terry Joyce will be joining us. And what I have here, her channel is called Not My Rabbit Hole. And listen, oh yeah, that's another thing. I want to talk about something very quickly. And that's just because it's becoming an issue and I don't really want it to. So I just wanted to say that I get that there's a lot of men that watch this program, but it seems like every time we have a female guest on, Hornballs start sending me messages asking about like people's marital status. Do they have a boyfriend? I don't know. This isn't freaking Tinder. You don't come here looking for a date. Well, if you find one, great, but please don't, we'll ask her when she comes here. I don't know if she's like looking for the, you know, I don't know what's going on with her. But so I just wanted to mention, like, please be respectful when we have a female guest here, because if people feel like, there's all these hornballs jumping all over them, they don't want to be a guest. And that it was an issue. We did that anyway. I just want to mention, please be respectful to all the guests, whether they're female or not, especially if they're female. We don't want sausage parties here. We want people to feel comfortable coming here. Now, her YouTube channel is called Not My Rabbit Hole with Tere Joyce. And by the way, I was just mentioning all this because I don't want all you men talking about trying to get down her rabbit hole and all this shit tonight. Like, no. But I have the link to her YouTube channel, and she is so close to getting monetized that I think that we could really help her tonight. So I'm going over to, I have to put it in the YouTube live chat. They're still sobering her up in the back. We're bringing her here in a minute. But before we do, we want to front load the live chat. So what we have here is, there's like 150 of you, and she only needs like 15 or 20 of you to go over there and subscribe. And I just want to mention, listen, it's very difficult to get monetized. It takes forever. And you got to grind and grind and grind, knowing that you're not going to get paid until you get monetized. So she hasn't been able to get paid this entire time, and she's done some incredible interviews in the past with people like Max Spears and others, exclusive content nobody else has. She does some excellent investigatory kind of work. She's digging into the Q-tards, and that was a whole thing. And she does good work. She deserves to get a couple of bucks. So I'm putting her YouTube channel in the live chat, and I need you all to go over there and subscribe, because I'm trying to see. I can't see where her sub numbers are at, but I thought she only needed. Why is that? That's weird. She's got 985 subscribers. We only need. Listen, have you ever? I don't ask anybody for favors. I really don't. But in this case, Terry Joyce has been a guest here many times. She has worked her butt off. This girl's going back to school to become a real journalist with a degree and everything. I'm so proud of her. I don't know what kind of clown show school let her in, but they did. And so listen, she could use the extra money to help her pay her way through college. She could use the extra money to get herself better equipment to make a better show, or get herself better software to make a better show. There's 100 reasons why she needs 20 of you guys to go over there and hit that subscribe button. And look, after she hits the money, give her a chance. If her show sucks, unsubscribe. But for right now, it would be extremely helpful. Now, consider it a favor, each and every one of you that go over there, because when I was trying to do this, almost nobody helped me. Almost nobody gave me a bump. She is this close to the finish line. This girl got herself within inches of that finish line herself, with hard work and dedication and diligence and showing up on and doing shows, even when, I remember when you start, there's like 4 people in your live chat for the first year. It's horrible. It's terrible. It's discouraging. And she is so close. I'm so proud of her. We're going to get her there tonight. All you got to do is go over there and subscribe to her channel. I'm going to put it in the live chat one more time before we bring her in here. 1 second here. I got to put it in our actual YouTube live chat. Oh, you know what? I'll pin it. Terry Joyce channel, please subscribe. All right. And I'll pin it in the live chat so you can go into the YouTube live chat and oh God, 1 second. I thought I did. Hold on. 1 second. I gotta pin it to the live chat. Chat is moving super fast, so I've pinned Terry's YouTube channel into the live chat. We're gonna bring her here now. Welcome, Tere Joyce.
Hi, Stephen. I'm actually still at work. I mean, I'm on hold because I tutor online on Wednesdays, but I didn't get any students today, so But that's neither here nor there. Little do they know that I'm live streaming at the same time.
Yeah, well, you got to multitask in today's economy. Like you got to be doing two things at once to make it through life now. It's horrible.
This is true.
I want to tell you, I'm very proud of you. Like I've seen your subs were like really not even close a few months ago when I looked, I thought. And so you've been kind of grinding it out and trying to get to that stupid finish line. And you're very, very close, I think, right?
Yeah, I am. And I really appreciate you doing this too as well. Like just subscribe to our channel. I'm getting really close.
Terry, wait a minute. Here, I'm going to show you something. You hit it. You were at 1,003 subscribers.
Woo! Thank you.
So there you go. Thank you all. But listen, let's get her a buffer, guys. So more of you should go over there because she's got to file this paperwork and all this stuff with YouTube to get her money situation. And if she's only at 1,003 and she files the paperwork and then it drops below, it screws everything up and you got to wait and do it again. So let's get her a 20 or 30 people buffer over there so that she can file her paperwork and get to her YouTube money. Congratulations.
I'm so thank you, Stephen. That's great. And it happened fast. Boy.
That's a milestone.
I will do a show this weekend. I wanted to bring up some of the old super soldiers that videos around.
The guy with the 150 mile per hour kicks. Remember that guy? He was like, I have my kicks are 150 miles per hour. Yeah, and here, this is for Terry Joyce. She's in the money now. Thank you all for helping out. We appreciate it. So, Terry Joyce, what I was going to do tonight is listen to this ridiculous gay bashing stream of David. Did you hear this? He's just gay bashing through the first half of it. He's just telling gay jokes and gay bashing. And I don't know. Do you know? Am I wrong? Like, aren't gay people like a protected class? You can't just make fun of a protected class on YouTube. It's like making fun of people in wheelchairs, right? It's
right. No, you
can't do this.
Yeah, it's not cool.
This is so stupid. He goes on a public live stream and he's telling people how to become gayer, right? Like, I don't understand how this is okay, but
well, it's pretty offensive. I mean, I really it was a bad move on his part, and I think it makes
Terry. I'm not even gay, and I'm offended.
Yeah,
because I have gay friends and I have gay family. Like they're people. You can't just it's crazy.
Yeah, it was awkward to say the least.
It's pretty cringeworthy. Well, I know you're very busy. My main reason to have you come here tonight was really just to help you get the bump and get over the hump here. So I know you can't stay very long, but I'm gonna start playing this video and
I can stay for a while. I mean, I think I have like an hour in me.
Okay, well that's very good. I'm only trying to get through an hour of this clown tonight because I can't take too much of this. But we'll put our fair use banner up and cite fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about David Wilcock, spiritual leader, gay bashing people publicly live on YouTube. Terry, if you did that or I did that, don't you think we would have our channels like deleted or nuked? I think so.
Absolutely. Huge criticism, and I don't see why. I mean, maybe it takes time to get in trouble for that, but wow. I mean, look at him right there. It's
Yeah, we're gonna get into this, Terry. But this is what I don't understand. I just went through this situation, and I was hesitant to complain to YouTube because I thought I don't want to even be on their radar. If you know what I mean.
yeah.
But I have been making these live streams being critical of David Wilcock and Corey Good, and I noticed something. Every one of my live streams being critical of Corey Good or David Wilcock the video would get demonetized. No ads, not suitable. And so at some point I said, I don't understand because they're fully monetized. Like, so they can make videos saying all this ridiculous stuff and make as much money as they want on YouTube. But if you make a video talking about, being critical of them, YouTube demonetizes your video. So the good news is I asked YouTube about their policies concerning this, and they turned on the monetization on my videos suddenly, but they didn't reply to my messages. So is there some bias that YouTube has, and the bigger channels can have their own set of rules?
I've often wondered that. It seems like bigger names, like for example, Joe Rogan can get away with saying a lot more stuff. And if a smaller channel gets slapped on the hand and a community warning, I think the money does have something to do with that. I mean, that's my theory. I mean, I can't prove it, but that thought has come into my head. So maybe he's getting away with it because he still has a substantial money, and he brings in a certain amount of income that within their partnership with YouTube.
All right, and now I want to ask your ladies' opinion before we even begin this video, because even before beginning it, I was a stage magician and I never wore clothes that bad.
That's
and
cheesy.
Come on, stage magic. I did stage magic and I never wore sequencey gold leaf. Like, this is really effeminate.
It's almost like he's showing off, like, oh, it's gold leaf. It's
yeah,
like,
he says something about that. But
yeah,
I want to ask you a question. At your horniest time in life, would you ever have dated a man that would wear this kind of clothing?
Oh God, that's a loaded question, Stephen, because I think I've had moments in my life where I went, oh my God, I can't believe I dated a guy who had a mullet, or I can't believe I dated the guy in the parachute pants or the bolo tie. And I may have, like, I can't guarantee that I have not made those kind of mistakes before.
I dated a girl that had like a big mohawk for a while.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't have that in my bingo card, but I met her and she was hot, and I wasn't like a big fan of the mohawk though. It was kind of a detriment actually. It was like, if you just grew your hair out, you'd be beautiful. But she liked punk rock, and I didn't want to tell her, not to have that kind of. She had the big spikes going up,
Yeah, but that's kind of anarchist. That's kind of cool. All right.
Yeah, she was a cool chick. She was like into music and
this
art.
Jacket? No. It's like almost as bad as like the puffy shirt on Seinfeld. It's like no.
And he mentions
cool
in this,
and then not cool.
He bought it at a costume store. So he's like going to costume stores to find costumes to do live streams in, while he's talking to angels who are telling him to take baths in his own piss. Right? Like, something's wrong here. This is not. Oh, let's get started. We're going to listen. Okay. And I'm listening to him, and I have to stop it every once in a while. But if you have something you'd like to say, just say pause or something like that, and we'll get going on this.
Okay.
He's so proud of all his tech toys too.
Yes. If you voted for the blue shirt, you lost. If you voted for the purple shirt, you lost.
This is
new. If you voted for Sizzle Clothes, congratulations, my friend. You are the winner. I'm here. I'm David. It's telling me I'm supposed to insert ads.
So cringeworthy.
I don't really need to do that. Oh, it's good to be back. And I dressed up for you. You know, I feel like our relationship has got to be taken to the next level. And so that means I need to be respectful of you. I need to honor you.
Yeah, Terry, is it respectful of an audience to dress like a goddamn clown when you're supposed to be like a spiritual leader? Or am I wrong?
No, it's not. It's
It's like he's mocking the audience, right? Like, I'm going to dress ridiculous because you people are all ridiculous and stupid. So I'm going to
It's like
dress
a
like this.
cheesy Vegas act, is what it feels like.
That's exactly, and I've seen those.
With this fascinating getup that I've got on.
He's
It's
got a
even
bow
got
tie.
its own bow tie.
Bow tie.
If you notice, there's gold leaf on the bow tie. It's not really gold. This was $88 at a costume shop, but it's funny to pretend that it's very expensive.
He's a big spender, $88 for his streaming costume, but
Right.
I'm sure the super chats covered that. I'd like an $88 wardrobe budget for every live show, right?
Let's see what you guys are up
Who's he
to here.
laughing
You're
at,
saying it's
though?
too darn
Oh,
funny.
maybe it's himself.
Yeah,
Hold on.
David, hey there. How you been? He's back. What are you wearing? We love the sizzle. David Wilcock is Edgar Casey.
Ugh.
Looking good. Oh my God.
No, he's not.
She is the coolest. Oh my God, this outfit. Yes. The outfit freaking rules. I mean, how could you ever be disappointed with an outfit like this? And of course, with the cigarette included.
And this is something new. I use these in magic shows. They're called puff cigarettes. You can buy them at magic shops, gag shop, whatever on the internet. And they have like talcum powder in them. And when you blow out on it, it makes but like, I don't understand. He needs cigarette props now to do a show.
That's bizarre.
Now you have an ensemble of behavior that gets you awards. You can go to an award show. You can end up being very well informed about what's going on in the world just by having access to these tools.
You know what, Terry? Maybe he's smarter than us, because I bet you an awful lot of people tuned in just to this beginning of this video to see what the hell did he do, right? Like, it's like, do something shocking and strange so that people tune in, because he's got no content.
You see, this is a comedy tool. I have a prop here, and in a way, the jacket also makes you laugh. So when you put the two together, it's a very natural. It feels good, you know. You can kind of ease back in the chair. You can be happy.
Well, it feels good for him. I don't get this, right? It's just a publicity stunt, you think? Just like, let's get people to tune in just to see my stupid jacket.
So. I mean, but there's a level of weird mockingness.
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
But it's hard to figure out, like, who's it for? Like, I don't know. It's
bizarre.
David, stop drinking Bud Light. It says, well, this is all I've got, folks. There's nothing else. But
there's the
we're gonna do David Wilcock cigarette variations at some point. What that means is that I'm gonna ask you guys to feed me characters that you want me to play. Right here, you can write it in here. Tell me,
this is so
start thinking about it, because we're not going to do it right now, but I want you to think about funny characters that you would like to see David Wilcock do that involve a dangling phallic cigarette that hangs out of his mouth pretty much in perpetuity, never really burns down, but accents the flavor
like he wants to suck
of the voice that I'm using as I speak. This is what I really want to do. My calling in life is really not science or spirituality. It's just smoking cigarettes on YouTube Live, but not really smoking because I think it's disgusting. I just like the aesthetic. It makes me laugh. And as long as I'm getting off on it, then I think it's probably going to be okay to assume that other people will laugh too. Although sometimes
I don't know.
That turns out to be.
It's not good if they're laughing at you. Right?
It's not if people don't get the joke or the reason.
I don't understand any of this. We want to thank My Flock is Everywhere for $1.49 super chat, and we want to thank Zizix for a $5 super chat, and both of them for also being a member. I got distracted and I forgot about the live chat, and we want to thank Dragon Stars Haven for a kind and generous $2 super sticker, and we want to thank What? I'm sorry. Oh, Sweet Caroline is back. YouTube sucks. Creators' hard work. Check PayPal whenever. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We appreciate it. And she throws money at me on PayPal because I could keep more of it. And I don't know if you know this, Terry Joyce, but if you become a YouTube channel member during one of our live broadcasts, we give them a shout out and we say thank you. So thank you to Operator 357, who just became a YouTube member and gets some extra goodies. We've got My Flock is Everywhere with $1.99, Super Chat and being a member. And we've got Talmit with a kind and generous $20. Talmit bought 10 memberships this month, Terry, and gave them away as gifts and says, keep up the good work. We thank you, Talmit. We thank all of you guys for your kindness, generosity, and support. I'm sorry I missed all those. Very kind and generous of all of you. Thank you all for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, we gotta try to see. How long do you think it's going to be before he talks about anything relevant to Archangel
I don't know.
Michael?
I watched the beginning of this video.
I think he talks for like an hour and he doesn't say anything.
This.
All right, let's continue.
You're wrong. For example, if you're from New York and you're sarcastic, you probably don't want to be sarcastic in relationships. I'll just say that as a nice, easy way of saying it. So
yeah, a divorced man's a relationship expert.
We are going to be talking about it. You ready for this? Archangel Michael, the biological universe, and the soul's destiny. That is right. I am coming at you with some high octane stuff here because I have been living in seclusion in this house for 2 years, getting a higher education, if you will, from a parallel university. And in this case,
that's so bad.
The parallel university comes in the form of angelic beings who, if you watched last week's show, I was first in contact with them telepathically beginning in the year 1996.
Yeah, so Terry Joyce, he claims he is in contact with angels. Listen, I never talked to angels, but do you think angels would be telling him to like smoke fake cigarettes and wear stupid jackets? Like, this is so stupid. Like, one of these things doesn't belong here, right? Like,
well, I think he's run out of material and he's he needs a writer, or he doesn't have his team. It just feels like, here's my comeback. I'm going to say that I've been in seclusion and in contact with angels. Here's what they told me. It's always the same scenario, but he's reinventing the wheel again. And I almost feel like he goes, well, what characters do you want me to be? Just whoever smokes cigarettes or whatever a character. He's trying to be you, actually. Like he's going to pull a mask out. And
I don't know.
It would be funny if he did an impression of Stephen Cambion. But
no, all he does is tell me that I'm doing illegal stuff. Did you know that he said that I illegally released those depositions? And that was illegal. That's what he said. He didn't name us, but he said the people who released those depositions, that was illegal. And he didn't name us, but he was certainly talking about us. And by the way, there seems to be a little bit of confusion because some people, Terry, wrong one. Some people are saying, oh, everybody got those depositions. No, we were the only one that got all of them. Somebody leaked one publicly on the web, but the rest of them, we were the first people to get them. And if you see them on other YouTube channels, it's because I encourage people to copy them and upload them to their channels. But we'll see what else he's in a clown jacket. We are in a clown show now. He's in a clown jacket. He's got a clown bow tie on.
That was when I started.
But he's talking to angels.
Following the principles of remote viewing. And I was able to produce results that had a spoken voice that appeared to be right away some type of higher consciousness. Now, we're not used to the idea necessarily of higher beings, but this was unavoidable. It was very personal. The contact knew all sorts of things about.
I think he's used to high beings, but it's probably him. Like, I don't understand this. Like, Do you think he doesn't realize that, like, saying that you're in contact with divine angelic beings and being a clown at the same time and telling gay jokes, like, these things are not compatible? Does it register with him?
I don't know. I mean, you have to realize too that he has cultivated a ironically a Christian, or what he thinks is to be a Christian or patriot audience, because I think of his
Yeah,
association
because he was
with
pushing the
the
Q-tard.
alphabet.
Yeah, because he was pushing the Q-tard stuff for a long
Right.
time. So he got a lot of those stupid people.
It's almost like he's being the bad example of what that community is actually viewed in, by doing jokes, like about gay people, or pretending, what I'm saying, like saying I went to the Grammys, or going, this isn't a Budweiser, because the Budweiser thing's going on. So
Yeah.
he's subtly pushing these buttons. I guess, is he giving us what he thinks his audience wants, and is that what is that what he is doing?
Well, yeah, but let's talk about this for a minute, because if his, I think it would be fair to say that his market is like crystal hippie bitches and like dudes that are like vegan and meditate a lot, right? Like the spiritual crowd. The
spiritual crowd that believes in UFOs, that follows the ascension, maybe even the Saint Germain kind of.
Yeah, but aren't those
narrative.
people generally socially liberal and very like supportive and tolerant of gay people?
Well, those people are, but then like he crossed over into this other area where he talks about Satanists and this and that and blah 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 blah, associated himself to the 17 letter alphabet, and before that was, the round thing that you put toppings on and you eat, right? Gate. So he put himself in those narratives and with those people who were the larger influencers. For example, he paired up with David Seaman. And if you go back to like think about what happened with his break with Gaia TV, one of the things that he wrote with and said that Corey and their company was satanic and blah 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 blah, and then he throws this Christianity in there, like, oh, and I believe in Jesus kind of thing. But then but on the other hand, he's murkying he colors the waters with a belief system that doesn't really particularly jive. It's like he's merged everything all into one
So,
extension.
Yeah, and these things are not compatible, and neither are his groups of audience members. Like, like I really don't think that like really conservative Christian, holy roller types mix well with crystal hippie people,
Right.
But don't you think that he stands a chance of alienating a lot of his audience by bashing gay people? Like,
I think so.
Those crystal hippie people are going to say like, "Whoa, dude, what? That's a little too much." Like, you got to be tolerant and accepting of people, especially to be a spiritual leader, right?
Right. He's supposed to be like, what he's become is a spiritual leader for some people. And look at him. I mean, if you took a snapshot of just that, I mean, he looks like a fake.
He could pass for a televangelist right here.
Right. Exactly. But what's the difference between him and a televangelist? There's a very fine line between.
Well, yeah, he just throws in aliens along with the angels,
right.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he's got to say here.
Not available to anyone else, and also
he's talking about getting these angel prophecies in 1995, but there's no proof that he wrote them down anywhere or published them in 1995. So he could be just playing matchup with current events.
My own burden of proof was satisfied by the fact that I spent so much time dealing with accurate prophecy. I mean, it's hard to explain this, but
Terry, to my knowledge, he doesn't have one accurate prophecy. He was wrong in 2000. He was wrong in 2012. Now, did you know he said the world's going to end in 2 years from now?
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I know that he was talking about these arrests and arraignments that were supposed to be happening.
Oh, my God. He's been talking about that since 1998. He's been saying mass arrests are coming any day now.
Yeah.
But the whole cabal is getting taken down,
Every time that I sat down at the desk to do this work, to transcribe these cassette tapes, there would be a time loop where whatever it was just describing in the tape that I'm now transcribing is something that I had actually been experiencing and something that I'd actually been seeing out in the world. So like there was a toy called Tamagotchi where you feed this little chicken, and if you don't keep pushing the buttons on this little orange toy, that the bird is going to die. Oh no. Well, I had that experience of seeing a little girl feeding her Tamagotchi at a local convenience shop. I go back home, and I sit down and I start transcribing, and sure enough.
Don't you think, have you listened, he finds meaning in the stupidest things. Like I saw a girl with a certain kind of toy. This is synchronicity, right?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
The exact same type of toy, the exact same type of little girl is in the dream. I think Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1 came out around this time, I believe, or one of them. And I went to see that, and there was all kinds of interesting crossovers when I got back from the movie where the transcript was describing things I'd just seen in the movie right before then. So this is very fascinating. And when we talk about
stupid. So what he's saying is the Archangel Michael is a big fan of Star Wars, Terry Joyce.
Yeah. I agree.
Soul's destiny. We're talking about an opportunity to live a different life.
Yeah,
where
just
we
send him
no longer
$333
are bound by what we thought reality really is. The whole notion of reality here has become incredibly plastic in today's world. We can't take for granted the things that we thought were so solid. We used to call them institutions, and with the word institution comes the idea that you can buy stock in it, you can get an education in it, you can.
All right, we're almost 7 minutes in, and he hasn't said anything yet, right?
No, it's
still gobbledygook.
Yeah.
And Terry, I was just talking to a friend about this, and I think he nailed it, and I want to get your opinion on this. My friend was saying that essentially David Wilcock and Corey Good, they pump up the fear porn, and they make everybody afraid of coming events that they claim are happening soon. But then they offer them that love, you'll be fine, just stick with me. So it's like a push-pull. He pushes all of his followers with all this fear and fills them with fear, saying like the world's going to end in 2 years, but don't worry, I'm talking to the Archangel Michael. So he's got the push full of fear, and then the pull, he's pulling them closer to him, essentially saying, just take my course and you'll be fine, You're
going to ascend. You're going to be the one. You're going to deal with this. It's not what you think it is. And again, I got to tell you, I cannot get over the whole pee in the bath thing. I really, I go, okay, it's for me, it's just, oh, no, just never mind.
Oh, let's see what else this clown is talking about.
Be safe and secure in your life with this institutional assistance. Universities, hospitals. And now everything has been turned upside down, and a lot of people have no idea what's going on and who to trust or who not to trust. And I feel your pain. I mean, it's a very hard time to be alive right now. I've got to say that. It's not easy to be here on Earth at this time.
Oh, geez, he actually has empathy. Or is it fake empathy?
Right.
Because he's about to sell you something.
And you're probably suffering just like I'm suffering. I mean, it's very intense.
Yeah, Terry, he's suffering in a multi-million-dollar mansion in Colorado. He's suffering. Right. He's suffering.
I would like to remind you that it's not going to stay this way. I've studied the cyclical patterns of history.
And he's been wrong about all of them. He said the world was going to change in 2000. The world was going to change in 2012. And we're all going to get superpowers. Now the world's going to end, or major Earth changes in 2 years from now.
And wrote a whole book.
Oh, Scar, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, 2012 was this big deal, for him. It was all about 2012, the Mayan calendar, blah, 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 the ascension.
Hmm.
We're all going to. And then we woke up the next day and nothing happened. And yet
Yeah.
he still goes on. Do people question it? Like after
No, because he does the Cosmic Con shuffle. He just went away for a little while and hopes that everybody forgets all the stupid things he said that never happened, and then he comes back with new stupid things that he's saying are going to happen. And I don't know if these people have like short-term amnesia, but
right.
I'm always there to remind people, because you know how it is, Terry. Some of the supporters come at me, and I just say, like, look, the guy was wrong in 2000. The guy was wrong in 2012. He was wrong about anti-gravity. He was wrong about hover cars. He's been wrong about everything. Wrong about these mass arrests that he's been talking about since 1998. So he's got a proven track record of being wrong on just about everything, Terry Joyce.
Yeah.
He's the world's worst psychic. He's putting himself out into the world as a psychic, too. Like,
yeah, and then I noticed that he has his guitar in the background. It's like part of his image, and I'm also a musician.
Yeah, and you know what, Terry Joyce? I have 2 really cheap guitars on my wall, but I play them, so that's okay. And they're just on the wall to get them out of the way,
Apparently he does too, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Have you heard his music?
It's awful. It's god awful. Yeah.
About it called the Synchronicity Key, in which we discuss how
everything in his book, The Synchronicity Key, never happened and was bullshit, fake stories. Just putting that out there.
History repeats itself in regular units of time. And when you see this happening, there are certain crisis points where, in a very short burst of time, all of the events that led up to that crisis come to a head and they converge. And so that crisis point
everything's going to
doesn't last very long. It's typically only a few years in any of these cycles, but that's where all the biggest stuff. It's so funny. I look over at you guys' comments here, right? And then it just goes faster and faster as I look at it, because I'm thinking, should I look at the comments? I don't know. I'm kind of on a roll here. I want to keep going.
He's on a roll
maybe
already.
Try StreamYard.
I had such a horrible day yesterday in this house. And you have no idea how bad it was. Okay, check this out. I just want to show you something.
Oh, this is going to get bad.
Both of these smoke alarms. Well, we had to rip them out. And the reason why is that when the house was built some 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
These guys have.
He said he's been in isolation and seclusion, but now he's saying we. He probably has some kind of staff members. It's a huge mansion, so maybe he has like a butler, right? How'd you like that job, Tere Joyce? You could be David Wilcock's butler.
Well, only if I get to wear the jacket.
Or his cleaning lady or something, right?
Terminator cell in them, as it turns out. And so even if you change the battery, it just says, nope, F you. We're too old. We're not going to work anymore.
Terry, am I wrong, or is this absolutely ridiculous? Like, I'm a spiritual leader.
Funny.
I'm a spiritual leader. I'm talking to angels, archangels, and I'm going to tell you all about my broken smoke alarms for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, he is so desperate for something to talk about.
And we're not gonna work for you. So I had my smoke alarms go out on me for 2.5 hours. Beeping is happening. And then what was so strange was that not only did one of these 2 things go out where you put the battery back in, it's still beeping, but I also had a separate carbon monoxide detector smoke alarm that I had also unplugged and thrown into a box in the closet. And that started beeping and dying at exactly the same time as the other smoke alarm did.
Terry Joyce, he doesn't know how to change the batteries in a goddamn smoke detector. That's how dumb this son of a bitch is. But he's going to be the father of anti-gravity. The dude can't work a goddamn smoke alarm, Terry Joyce. He's saying that they wouldn't stop beeping when he put new batteries in. There's usually like a reset button or something. Like, what the hell? And this is he said he had a 185 IQ too. That means he's smarter than Einstein, but he can't work a goddamn smoke detector. This is ridiculous.
In my bedroom in the middle of the night, somewhere between 5:30 and 8:30 in the morning yesterday.
And also, a carbon monoxide detector started beeping in a box. It must be angels or aliens, Terry Joyce.
Oh, that's got to be the reason.
And by the time I got up, the dog was so traumatized that she had to immediately go outside, and then she had to immediately go outside again. The wind was insane.
Oh, that's funny. So he gets divorced and his wife let him keep the dog, at least, Terry.
Well, God bless her. You know?
Or maybe she sold him the dog. Did you know? I know somebody that got divorced, and I swear to God, his ex-wife, it was in a divorce agreement. Like, if you give me an extra $3,000, you could keep the dog.
Wow.
Otherwise, I want the dog, and I'm keeping the dog. And my friend was very close to this dog. It was his dog, so he had to pay $3,000 so he could keep his dog. At least David Wilcock got to keep his dog. There's good news and everything. You know,
the cold was insane. And then the next thing you know, I got the fire department here, and we could not figure out what was beeping. It was like there was some kind of time bomb in the house, you know? So we literally, I mean, these guys,
Fire department.
I had basically officials in my closet yesterday ripping through my stuff.
Oh my God, Terry Joyce. He's saying that fire department officials also don't know how to work a smoke detector. And, you know, there's something we could fact check. I could call the local fire department and find out if they were at his house recently.
Why would you call the fire department because your smoke alarm?
Because he's so stupid.
And then why would
Like,
they be serious?
hello,
Oh my God,
I have
we
an
really
emergency.
can't handle
It's an
this.
emergency. The smoke detectors won't stop beeping.
It must be the angels.
I need you firefighters here to come explain this shit to me.
The very serious look on his face.
And they're going through his stuff, they said. The fire department came and they're going through his stuff. Oh, that's a screenshot right there.
Right? I mean, and they had this look on their face. Like, that's what the fire department people look like.
Terry Joyce, I'm going to use this still
So bizarre.
for a call-in show. Like, I'll put the Truthseekers logo. Truthseekers call in. Yeah.
Is this what it is? Are you sure that this isn't beeping? I'm like, dude, I got this in Kentucky. Like back when I lived in Louisville, Kentucky, or actually Milton. Some guy on the phone was...
Don't you think it's... Listen, Terry, I don't know. I just don't get this. I don't understand this. Okay, so 5,000 people tune in to watch this guy. And he's talking about smoke detectors and some old phone that he had in a closet. Like, do you think the thought of... I've got 5,000 people tuning in to see what I have to say. I'm going to talk about smoke detectors and this junky old phone from, you know, the 80s or something that I've kept all these years. Like, what the hell is he doing?
And how long has this been so far? Like, how many minutes has he gone talking about this stuff? I mean, it's like
we're only 10 minutes in, Terry Joyce.
Oh my God! It's like, please, just get to the point.
Let's see if he gets to
really,
some point.
You know, so excited. He was an old man. He called me up as a telemarketer. He was so excited about this phone that I've never thrown it away, even though, you know, your phone company has to be compatible with this. I mean, it's basically useless. But I even put black tape over it because it had this big red light on it, and you don't really want that flashing all the time. So, but anyway, the point is that this became a potential smoke alarm that was beeping. That's how desperate we were, okay? Just to show you another thing.
He really is going crazy in that $1 million mansion.
Oh,
He's
God.
Like, oh, the smoke detectors went off. I could call the fire department. Then I'll have somebody to talk to.
With an equally serious and crazy look on his face, the fireman said, "Are you sure it's not this?" And I'm like, okay, look, these are hard drives. I don't think they beep. I'm pretty sure they don't.
Oh, come
but you know what? If it's going to make you feel good and it's due diligence and professional firefighting behavior.
They must be like really stupid firefighters.
I know.
Come on. I'm going to call the fire department near his house, nearest his house, and I'm going to ask them if they visited David Wilcock's house and said any of this shit. I think he's going crazy, and he's talking to imaginary firefighters while smoke detectors are going off in his house. That's what I think.
You know, I'm happy to take these out of the closet so that if they beep, that we'll hear the beep over there and we'll know that it moved. Well, it turned out that it wasn't these. And and this is all true. None of this is fake. They even speculated as to the possibility that this microphone case was the bomb. Because we thought, I mean, the beeping was so horrible. And then he had to keep firing off all the smoke alarms in the house. It was so intense. It was so intense. I was crying when they left because it had been so noisy for so long.
This was Terry Joyce. Did you ever cry from a fire alarm?
No.
I got one up on this clown. He cried because the fire alarms were going off. The smoke alarms were too much for him, so he cried. And who talked about a bomb? Now he's got a bomb in his house, and they're looking for. He's basically saying that. Yeah, he's saying that the fire department were looking for a bomb in his house and going through his stuff. That we can fact check this. This is bull.
It was not a ticking time bomb, as it turns out. I said, look, I think there really is nothing else in here except for a microphone. It doesn't have batteries. There's nothing going on here. It's not this. I promise you. But we couldn't find it, and the thing kept beeping, and I'm like, oh my God, are we ever going to... I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the show, because if that thing was still happening, I probably would have had to leave here. I wouldn't have my rig to do the live stream on. I would have had... Everything would have been crazy. So finally, thank God, after... They stayed here for 90 minutes, and they finally found it in this box. Some carbon monoxide detector. Who the heck needs that, right? Just, that's ugly. Let's throw that away. Well, yeah, you probably want to leave that plugged in. As it turns out, I discovered the hard way.
Especially when you're David Wilcock and you don't know how to work a goddamn fireplace. Did you ever see that? Terry, he was taking like 5-year-old wood that was laying in his garage and starting a fire and then going, it burns really fast. Yeah, because it's like 5-year-old wood. It's like paper. Like, he doesn't even know how to work a fireplace, and he was trying to tell people how to survive a grid down situation while he's in $1 million mansion, and he needs a carbon monoxide detector. Oh, this is so stupid.
Quite a ride.
I just can't figure out why he couldn't find the source of the noise.
He had to call, and he called the fire department, and they had trouble finding it. Terry Joyce, shut up, right? I'm gonna record the calls to the Colorado fire departments around his house, because those are going to be comedy gold.
Amazing.
Like, the guy from Ancient Aliens. Did you go to his house and help him look for a bomb? I can't wait to make these phone calls tomorrow.
Journey here, and I wanted to show you guys something here because we actually have some intel for you guys today. It turns out that
this is where it gets to the gay bashing, Terry Joyce.
The
Biden
administration
now it's getting good.
Has been secretly allocating millions and millions of dollars to GSU, or Gender Studies University. That's right. There's been secret slush funds that have been earmarked.
And this is total fake disinformation. He's basically saying the government's been spending millions of dollars studying gender studies, and then he's going to tell you what they found out, and it's all like bad gay jokes.
To create these very special institutions for higher learning. We want to elevate gender studies into a hard science, you see, because right now it's a soft science, and so in order to get it stimulated into a hard science, it's necessary to build these universities. GSU, it's very important, So, Wichita, Kansas, pretty much anywhere in Vermont, Provincetown, Massachusetts, San Francisco, So there's these secret cells of GSU.
Of all the things that didn't happen, this story didn't happen the most.
Research, and once they come out in the open, there is actual real possibility.
And the feds are paying him to babysit
more about yourself, And so this is a fascinating thing. I'm really excited about this because
here come the gay jokes.
They have a plan that I stumbled over in these leaked documents, where they want to figure out how to make you. Are you ready for this? Gayer today. Yes,
What?
folks, you too can now have the opportunity to get leaked classified information directly from Gender Studies University about exactly what it takes
did look uncomfortable
to be able to be a satisfied student in this rapidly emerging new science. I'm very, very delighted to bring you this
I
information.
can't wait to find out how to be gayer today.
Wow.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. I always forget, Terry Joyce, especially when they're 2-hour long, to get upload it separately and get rid of the commercials. So I apologize. Let me put it back. But we can see he's fully monetized as he's about to go into a tirade of gay bashing and gay jokes, Terry Joyce. So that's good,
Yeah,
right? It's good to know he's fully monetized
now we
on
know what the
YouTube.
suit's about. We now he rambled off into his little anecdotal, I might have a bomb, but it's just my carbon monoxide routine, right? And now he's getting into the nugget, which is this leaked data for Gender Studies University.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
crazy.
This is some of the leaked data that's come in from the documents that just spilled online. Everybody's like really, really upset about this right now, The first thing that we find out about being gayer today is that it's all in the voice. So in other words, in order to properly develop your persona for this university, it's necessary to understand that if you want to be, let's say, appreciated by the student body.
This is so cringe.
Yeah. If you want to be appreciated,
Totally
you probably
cringeworthy.
need to learn this particular voice technique. Okay, so we're going to go
Oh my
through this.
God.
First of all, it's incredibly important to introduce pitch variations into your voice. So normally you might talk like this. But if you want to be gayer
is this a
today,
joke or real? I mean, like, he's not really
gay.
reading from data, right?
No,
you want
there's
to
no
start
data.
bringing
This
your
is just
voice
gay
up and
bashing.
down, and you want to have all these extra. Now I sound like
Just gay
I
bashing.
don't want to say, but you have to
really
lilt your voice. And we'll get more into
stereotypical.
this as time goes on. But this is
Yeah,
science,
like
okay?
like
It's
gay
very
guys with
important that you learn
lisps.
these things.
Right.
Then what you end up doing is you create inspiring melodies with the sound of your voice, and that's
awful.
the part of the whole technique.
This is
You then want to bend up or
so
down
great.
from
This
one
is-
note to the next. So the Gender Studies University.
It's everybody's got that old uncle in their family that's so old fashioned. he makes fun of gay people and thinks that's still okay. He has become that uncle that everybody's embarrassed of in the family. At family events, will start making fun of gay people and stuff, right? Like he has become that.
City staff have discovered
only on YouTube
that where
fully
in
monetized
speech
on YouTube,
your voice just has a uniform pitch point. Okay, you typically hold one pitch.
Good point.
If you want to sound more gay or gayer, then what you have to do is you have to start bending your pitch from one to another. Okay,
so rude.
you can go up, or you can go down. And this is
people are
important
pissed at
because
Dave
in order
Chappelle,
to have the voice, which is basically your social signal, it's important that this lilting occurs. Okay, let's go to the next piece of science here. So you exhale through your nostrils to enhance the effect. Now this is actually very, very
How's he
significant.
an expert on how to be gayer,
often missed
Terry Joyce?
in the academic literature. The real key to making your voice sound as homosexual as possible is to aspirate some of the air through your nose as you're talking. So I'm now going to try to combine.
This is what he's doing, locked up in his cabin. Yeah.
Because what you want to do, okay, is by opening up and having a little air come out of your nostrils.
The squirrel said it's time for his meds.
You basically expand the palate, and then the whole nostril area begins to vibrate. Now I got to take a drink of water. This is very scientific. It takes practice. Okay, so just hold on a second.
Yeah, he should have Bud Light just to really drive it home.
I need a little bit of water. Oh, get.
So whereas normally you would talk like this, if you blow a little air out of your nose, it's going to sound like that.
Oh no.
Okay, so that's the technique. You want to talk and have the air,
Oh,
almost like you
God.
have a cleft palate, and the air comes out of your nose.
Is gayer even a
So
word?
that's part
I
of
don't
it.
know.
But then you also want to get the lilting thing. So it starts to sound. That's
Oh
the
my
other thing is the
God.
S's. Okay, there's a lisp. We'll get into that in a second. We're
I
not quite ready
said,
to do
I
all
said about
voices.
the lisp, yeah.
All right,
Does he think
let's
he's
keep going.
funny?
You got to add strong emphasis to everyday things, and that means that it's important that you're very excited about whatever you're talking about. So, to master the technique of being an admitted member of Gender Studies University, you want to fulfill the desire of what it means to be gay, because gay is happy. So you're very, very happy. All right. And you want to eliminate all sense of fear or shame as you speak. This is not going to be convincing if you're nervous, if you laugh too much, if you have any self-consciousness. You really do need to just throw yourself into the character with full abandon and just go for it. And then again, it's the mastering of the different techniques. Lastly on this list, you want to project confidence, openness, and trust. You're building a relationship with someone. You want to let them know that you have no shame whatsoever about the way that you're talking. All right. So to continue.
Yeah.
Another tip that we give you in Gender Studies University is that you...
He thinks this is hysterical, Terry Joyce.
Right.
He thinks this is great comedy.
You got to go where the gayness is, folks. Come on. You always want to carry a glow stick. This is very important. It helps you signal.
Wow.
Yeah, because all gay people are ravers,
know
right?
What's going on.
Right.
So it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
The comments are so funny. People don't always get comedy. This is satire, folks. There is no Gender Studies University, just so we're clear. Anyway, I'm having fun with this. Maybe we'll come back to these slides a little bit later. But the point is,
no, I'm just being a dick.
I gotta do something to keep myself entertained. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with you guys.
This is
fun.
And
it's
people for 10
I think it's really sad that the elite are trying to polarize us against each other, and I don't think that it's a good thing.
And you just
to have so much tension and division going on. And so to be able to laugh, to be able to have a lighter attitude, I think is important. I don't want to see people getting into fights.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, Terry Joyce. Like, he puts himself out here as a spiritual leader. And, like, even just from a business perspective, isn't this so stupid? Because, maybe gay people buy his courses. Would they buy his courses if they saw this? So he could have just alienated and just destroyed like 5 or 10% of his former customer base.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we want to thank Marina Mavroginas for a kind and generous $5 super sticker. Thank you for the kindness, generosity, and support, and helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
I can't believe that this is allowed on YouTube. Like,
I can't either. And it may not stay up. I wonder. I mean, I don't see how. I mean, it's only been up for a couple of days. It takes a while for something to be taken down.
I guess. And then, by the way, I've never encouraged people to report anybody, but.
Right.
If people want to do that and they think that this is offensive and shouldn't be, and if you think David Wilcock shouldn't be allowed to make money on YouTube saying these things, then do what you got to do. I don't think that this is acceptable.
I don't either.
Like the one thing I would say though, Terry Joyce, and you're a comedian, so tell me if I'm right or wrong here.
Okay.
If a gay man did this same sort of comedy skit, then it would be okay, right?
Right, because
he's in the protected class that he's making fun of, and
it's okay to make fun of yourself. It's okay to make fun of your own tribe.
But this is exactly like this is just as
the other way
this
around.
is just as offensive as if I would make a skit saying like this is how to be more ghetto and black. Because I'm not a member of that protected class, I should not make fun of those people. or this is exactly the same as like going on YouTube and making fun of disabled people or black
Right.
people or Chinese people or, you know, but is there a fine line, Terry? Because some comedians can get away with like making fun of different ethnicities, but they got to go.
Not very. I mean, I really.
They have to like make fun of them all. Like if
Anybody-
you're gonna tell Jewish jokes, then tell Polish jokes, Jewish jokes, Mexican jokes, black
if you're
jokes.
Don Rickles, maybe.
Yeah,
but then
maybe
again,
John Rickles could get away with that.
Don Rickles is kind of from a different era.
Yeah, very few. This guy is like this is like the Archie Bunker version of David Wilcock. Like those gays, you know. And somebody in the live chat said what makes him an expert on how to be gayer.
Well, I think David. Don't you think David thinks he's an expert on everything?
Yes, absolutely. Let's see what else
Part
he
of
has
what's
to say.
happening here is a polarization. They're trying to polarize us. They're trying to make it so that you're either on one side or the other. And you know,
I think he suddenly realized that this is not going over well, and now he's trying to backpedal, like make this about unity and how the cabal are trying to separate us. He's like, "Uh-oh, this did not land like I thought it would."
Fair
right?
To the people who are just trying to live their lives, which is the vast majority, and they're not falling into this stuff. Just like we saw back in the Middle East, right? There's a small minority of people who are heavily radicalized, and then everybody else adheres to that. And so since somebody spoke about the Bud Light thing, isn't it strange that Hell's Kitchen, which is a predominantly gay area of New York, that the sales of Bud Light went way, way, way down, like 70%. So I don't think that's accurate. I don't think the gay.
No, I don't think that's accurate either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the sale, believe it or not, the sale of Budweiser had a very fractional drop in their sales because, like, well, frankly, it's beer. You know, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, I don't care if.
Yeah, and by the way, Terry, I just wanted to say that like I'm okay with boycotting Bud Light. You know why? Because I already was boycotting Bud Light because it tastes like shit. It's a terrible beer.
I never liked Bud Light.
And it gives you Bud Mud. It gives you all Budweiser products give you Bud Mud the next day. You're going to be on the toilet all day. So like, no, I was already boycotting Bud Light. I don't really care about the trans thing. The Bud Light sucks.
Although I did have a Budweiser and a Clamato and Budweiser because I like that Clamato beer. I know you know, I did it out of rebellion. I'm like, Budweiser,
Terry's a rebel.
Is going along with this anymore, and it's definitely something that, again, for me, I feel like let's try not to hate each other. Because that's what they want.
Try not after I make my gay jokes.
And there's
try not to hate each other after I made a bunch of jokes designed to make you hate gay people. Right? Like, that's just so bad.
It's all about love, everybody.
Much bigger thing going on here than all this kind of stuff. So let me jump ahead. We'll save some more of these GSU slides for later.
He made a whole bunch of slides to bash gay people with. Like that's premeditation. That's like premeditation.
PowerPoint.
It's one thing, isn't it? One thing though, if you're like Terry, because you've been like on a hot mic, right? And maybe you threw out some joke that you went, "Oh, I shouldn't have," did that. But to premeditate,
I know that whatever I throw out may not land, may create a reaction. Like I am aware of that. Like,
but to premeditate it to the point where you brought slides to your comedy show so that people could read the bad jokes. Like this is terrible.
If you're gonna bring slides to your comedy show, you don't have a routine.
He's got more slides with gay bashing that he's going to save for later. He said.
But I want to talk to you now about the main topic here, which is this concept of
22 minutes in before he gets to the topic.
Life. And how life is going to spontaneously manifest. This is a very, very fascinating experiment from Dr. Luc Montagnier. And the experiment involved...
I'd love to know where he finds all these wacky experiments that he talks about, because I can't find some of them. They're just like super obscure wackadoo stuff.
Taking DNA that was free-floating in a tube with water, then energizing the tube, and having this coil around it. So where you see it says generator 7 hertz, that is the electrostatic generator
Now comes the science gobbledygook.
that creates something similar to the Schumann frequency. And Schumann frequency is the base electromagnetic resonance around the Earth. So, you guys weren't quite ready to go gayer yet. I'm sorry. The comments weren't quite there, but we'll get there.
Oh, he's looking at the comments now. He knows he's screwed up.
Anyway, so what you can see here is that on the left-hand side, there's a tube that has DNA over the top of it. And on the right-hand side, we have a series of empty tubes. And those tubes just have regular water in them. You see the word water.
Yeah, maybe they did. I think they did
hours
lose
the
some
word
money,
water.
Terry.
So all that Montagnier was doing in this experiment is he was energizing the tube that has DNA in water and the tube that has just plain water with this electrostatic energy. And sure enough, DNA grew in the non-living water, supposedly non-living water. So this is what we're going to see now is a study that actually came out in New Scientist, where it says scorn over claim of teleported DNA. A Nobel Prize winner is reporting that DNA can be generated from a teleported quantum imprint. A storm of skepticism has greeted experimental results emerging from the lab of a Nobel laureate, which, if confirmed,
this is where he connects a bunch of dots of nonsense that, like, right? Like,
well, I know, because it's kind of like, I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. I mean, but is that a reputable New Scientist? Is that reputable?
No, I think that there has been claims that people have teleported like single cells and things like that, like one molecule or two molecules and things like that. I think there was even some experiments to do that between the space shuttle and Earth somewhere.
Shake the foundations of several fields of science. If the results are correct, says theoretical, we got to get to that. So that's where this quote comes in. All right, so
yeah,
we're going to meet here in just a second theoretical chemist Jeffrey A. Reimer from UC Berkeley. And just like you would expect him to do, he is parked in front of
a
chalkboard with equations. And he has an impressive academic background, as you can see, CBE chair, Warren and Catherine Schillinger Distinguished Professorship in Chemical Engineering. His focus is on material chemistry, applied spectroscopy, alternative energy, and nuclear spintronics. So then again, when we go back to this paper and we see the quote that he actually gave, and remember, this is a high-octane guy. I mean, I just explained to you that he's got all these professorships and he's a distinguished laureate. And,
this is him. So, like, his source is impeccable. His source is impeccable.
What is the point?
I don't think he's a laureate, a Nobel laureate.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what did this guy say.
How does it apply?
He's still doing the super duper prover maneuver. Like, my source is so great. He's a Nobel laureate. He's a genius. He's got to be right about this.
But he's got all these distinguished professorships. So this is what he actually said, folks. If the results are correct, these would be the most significant experiments performed in the past 90 years, demanding a reevaluation of the entire conceptual framework of modern chemistry.
Okay.
AG1 is so much more than a greens powder.
Hold on.
In one single.
You know what I love, Terry? If you sometimes if you forget and you play the commercial, they copyright claim you for the music in the commercial. That's so stupid. Oh, let's get back to this clown.
Well, what are we really talking about here? We're saying that the life is emerging in water. And if it's that easy for it to accomplish that,
that's interesting. So
with DNA.
So Terry Joyce, the scientist had a rep for one thing, but this was never reproduced. All other scientists said it wasn't real. So he's pushing fake science, essentially.
Okay. Thank you.
One scientist said he teleported DNA. All the rest of the scientists said, no, you didn't. But David Wilcock's running with that this, that this is true and this is real. So he's pushing 100% fake science there.
Okay.
But he's going to do the super duper prover maneuver here, and that means that he is going to. He showed you like something written in print that he says is real. And now he's going to stack a whole lot of BS on top of that. Watch.
being resonated nearby in another drop of water, then why can't we have, all the universe filled with life? Well, that is the answer. What this scientific discovery really shows us, let me click back to the slide. Yeah, it's one of the most significant experiments in the last
Except it wasn't real.
Of everything we think we know about chemistry.
If it was real, it would, but it's not real, so who cares?
It's incredible to find out that this is happening. And it's one of the most...
Apparently, though, with Terry Joyce, it's not incredible to find out that every other scientist said that never happened. This is fake.
Most intrinsic aspect.
Right. We don't get that
model that I've been teaching all these years. And I find it really incredible. And it's also really underappreciated. Because remember that if it works for DNA, if it works for little bacteria, it can work for larger life forms as well. Because
Terry Joyce, golden showers gives you super duper powers.
Oh, no.
And Zizix with a kind of generous $5 super chat says he is a grifter. I would have to agree and praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
This is cringeworthy.
life is just a multicellular organism, but the DNA has the code for all that extra complexity in it. So once you get this, let's go back again, see the experiment here.
You are correct, Crypto
once you
Crusader.
see this thing actually working,
yeah, but
it's very, very
nobody
amazing.
except the scientist who made the claim saw this thing working. So he's saying, once you see this thing working, but nobody has.
So the next thing that you've probably
science.
heard me talk about many, many times, and I just wanted to bring it up again because it is one of my all-time favorites.
Connect the dots with other crap now.
Pardon me.
Those are cigarettes.
I went down the wrong way.
Oh, more water.
Okay.
More water, yeah.
The study of geometry and fluid vibration. You've seen me say this many times before, but it's totally worth repeating it again now. What are we seeing right here? What is this? This is
come on.
Nothing more than
yes, there's definitely shoulder pads in there.
Little fine particles of sand in it. And then
he's building a gay DNA converter.
Just the sand being white and the water being the dark color. Now, why is it in a geometric pattern? That shouldn't happen, right?
Because
the only thing that we've changed is that we've added vibration.
Oh, vibration.
Right. Come on, this is old news.
Somebody said that I bet he likes to get R. Kelly'd by dudes.
Oh, no.
Well, and do you get different superpowers if you take baths in other people's piss? Like, Terry, if you get superpowers for taking baths in your own piss, do you get, like, different and separate superpowers when you take baths in other people's piss? Like, how does this work?
Can't speak on that.
We're just dumb monkeys. We can't understand angels and how they give people superpowers, I guess.
Well, if it would be really interesting if that is what he says. Like, and then Angel Michael told me, well, why don't not take a bath in your own pee, but take a bath in somebody else's pee?
Yes, and DNA plus 7 hertz plus geometry equals gayer. This is so bad.
So the vibration causes this geometry to spontaneously materialize, which looks like the Star of David. And again, as we look...
Yeah, and this is such old news. If you vibrate sound at a certain frequency and put sand on top of a little table... I've done this experiment, and it is interesting. It's fun to watch, but this is known science. It's the frequencies that cause the shapes to
look at it here. It's very.
But he's assigning some deeper, more powerful meaning.
Well, he's bringing something that actually a lot of people know and recognize with something that is.
Then he's going to pile his BS on top.
Drawing a connection to the two because one's valid and one isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Geometric. It's got two interlaced triangles. Then there's these loops around the outside, and
here we go with the Tesla.
When you change the frequency,
you gotta love Tesla.
This is what happens. If you play one sound, all the sand magically assembles into the star.
28 minutes of blah blah blah.
Sound,
but he doesn't dare mention the hover cars.
Again, And here, this next slide shows it even better. These are different variations.
Yeah, I think it is called Cymatics.
Of the sand
You're
particles
correct, Sean.
magically assembling into some kind of geometry.
It's not magically, it's science.
All right.
Right.
Magically. Oh!
Really?
Not only is he fully monetized, he's got ads every 5 minutes, Terry. He takes the time to put in tons of extra ads. Isn't that great?
Well, why is it that people still follow him? Like, what
I don't
is
know.
it that, obviously, from his prior work, the era that he came out of, the genre that he came out of, but now that people are really scrutinizing and going back and going, but wait a second here, he's just a fake guru, basically, who's on. I really think that underneath, if you want my analysis, he seems like he's desperately trying to connect with an audience that is dwindling away. So he's trying to be funny. He's like, when he goes into the like, oh, these are the detectors. Like, look, I'm a normal guy with problems like you have, even though I live in my $1 million house in Colorado, and I'm a genius that's able to, connect to all these different angels and tell you what's going to happen in the world. I've got special gifts. There's this kind of, you have to believe that. You have to believe the LARP isn't the right word, but you got to believe the myth in order to buy the rest of it. But like you said, we said earlier, he looks like a phony evangelist. Like, it doesn't matter what spirituality someone's selling, they still kind of all have the same earmarks.
Yep.
So I think, to me, there's an underlying level of desperation to his delivery. He's not confident like he used to be.
No, I think he's in desperation mode.
Yeah.
So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because I don't think I've actually done
he's got nothing else to talk
these
about.
slides
No. Yeah, you're right.
Regular YouTube live video before, where we talk about this geometry, like I just showed you, appearing in consciousness. For many, many years, I've been working on a unified field model of the universe, which was guided by things like alleged extraterrestrial teachings from the Law of One, crop formations that have sacred geometric patterns in them, and all the way back to when I first got online, and I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, so he's going to connect that real science thing that happens with frequencies and sand into aliens, crop circles, and some other crap. We got to connect a lot of dots here.
Last week about Art Bell was the top show, and Richard C. Hoagland was one of the top guests, if not the top guest. Hoagland's book, Monuments of Mars, talked about that there was a face on Mars, that there was
it's all been debunked.
Aspect to it, where
it was all fake. All of Hoagland's stuff was fake.
On one side, and then a lion-like face on the other side, and the Sphinx on Earth.
He was all chips in on the Richard Hoagland face of Mars, and that's all been proven to be like garbage, Terry Joyce. But he still pushes it.
Yeah, he still is.
This is crazy.
Is a human and lion mixture. So that's very interesting. And then next to this face on Mars is a city of what obviously looks like pyramids. So apparently there are
It's not a city, and it might look like pyramids, but it's just natural formations.
Archaeological expeditions that we're going to be able to make. As I've been saying to you, we are going to have spaceships in the future. This is part of what I'm developing with Stavati Aerospace.
Yeah, he's going to make spaceships and go to Mars and check out those pyramids now, Terry Joyce.
He's so specific about it, too. He doesn't say, well, in the future, there's a possibility. It's like, we're going to have this.
Yeah, we're going to have spaceships so we can go to Mars and check out that face and those pyramids you guys heard about before. Send me some money.
And Mars is one of the coolest places we can go.
How does he know that?
Very exciting stuff there waiting to be discovered. And the pyramids and the Sphinx, the face, all this stuff is included in that. So in
Yeah, every major scientist has totally said that stuff's all just tricks of light and shadow, natural formations. There's nothing to it. But
you can see
he's going
Hopeful's
to keep
book,
pushing
Monuments of Mars. I got it in 1993. He was describing this physics that he believed the monuments talked about. And it was this idea of a tetrahedron, which is a very simple geometric pattern. In fact, it's basically what you see here on the right.
it. Oh my God.
You put the tetrahedron inside a sphere.
Connect the dots of nothingness.
And I don't really have this illustrated because I didn't know, I wanted to have some slides and I also wanted to, just improvise as well.
Yeah, I wanted to
Had
bash
to get
gay
to Gender
people
Studies
too.
University. It's very important. Now, it was highly classified. A lot of people, nearly died for that information. So
Nearly died.
it's as much as we can take in 1 week. Maybe next week you'll get another lesson if you're good. But we'll
Oh
see
my
how it
God,
works.
please.
The information he gave us last week, people almost died so that he could bring that to us. That's what he just said, Terry Joyce.
I will warn you in advance that the fetish whip is one of the lessons, okay?
Oh, God.
This is designed with, I'll show you up close. It has leather. It comes together in a very funny way, causing this. So there's
What
a
does he
technique,
have
you're
that
going to have to
for?
learn how to use this effectively and with compassion. Because
I think he makes women beat him.
Lovingly. This is a very important loving gesture.
Pea
And there are
water,
glasses that go along with it if you
and-
choose to wear them.
I bet
wear
you
these glasses as you use the fetish whip.
Terry Joyce, I bet you that somewhere wherever he just grabbed that fetish whip from, maybe he's got a box full of dildos behind him.
I would assume that would be next. That would
put this over the top.
Right.
And this helps to create a fantasy for someone that they can always remember. You're giving them a quality experience that they're never going to forget. So GS
Terry Joyce, would you let David Wilcock smack you around with that sex toy?
Maybe if you took off the jacket.
Probably a very good use of taxpayer dollars, honestly. I think so. Anyway, so this stuff exists in your mind. This is consciousness geometry, and consciousness geometry essentially underpins the whole universe. So where this becomes so significant is we can actually see, first of all, how it builds up from single unit spheres. And this is something I've talked about before.
So we go from sex toys to
bulbs
back to science.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Ow!
Okay.
1 second. I'm sorry. This guy is ridiculous with the commercials, Terry Joyce. They're every few minutes. Every few minutes, there's a commercial. So he's not just fully monetized, he's over monetized, making fun of gay people.
4 spheres of equal size, we put them together, we get a tetrahedron. So it's that simple. That geometry I was just showing you can be built out of 4 marbles of the same size.
I think he's lost his marbles, Terry.
We only added another, what is that? 4 more on the outside, and now we have the exact same shape that I just showed you in water. That is the interlaced tetrahedron. So
he's playing with sex toys and balls, Terry Joyce. He's playing with balls.
What I'm trying to talk about, how it would work, it's actually holographic. It's a fractal of a single sphere that bubbles out into these other spheres that are all the same size, and then they compact. And as they come together, they make all the different geometry that we see in the fluids that are vibrating. It's very weird. So then we get this, this is the octahedron.
I think I'm getting dumber listening to this guy, Terry Joyce.
All right, let me ask you about his teeth. Is it me, or have they gotten longer? Like he's gotten really toothy looking.
Yeah, he got like some kind of he said that the cabal, he was so busy fighting the cabal that it caused him a lot of stress, and he would grind his teeth at night, so he had to get all new teeth.
He had to get those are veneers or something?
There's some kind of fake teeth, yeah.
It's whoever his dentist was. I don't think They don't look natural.
He got
They
them
make
done.
it look kind of chipmunky or squirrely.
Somebody said he got them done because they were crooked. I don't remember them being crooked. He just didn't have very. I don't know. Yeah, at some point. And by the way, he basically begged for money to get his teeth done, and he said, I need all this money because this is very expensive, and it's because of the cabal, and I've been fighting the cabal, and that's what he said.
Wow.
And you have 4 in the middle, 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. And this is looking at it from the top down, and then 4 more put around it. So you see, you get these beautiful complex geometries that start to form just with single individual marbles. And then this would be where you have an octahedron with a cube.
He chipped his teeth on vibrators, Terry.
So all of these things are entirely possible. So now I want to get into the main course and why I decided to use some slides, because if you've seen my other YouTube videos, I've talked about many different things that involve geometry that are highly fascinating. We can, for example, look at atoms and molecules and figure out that all of the stuff we learned in high school about protons and neutrons needs to be redone.
Oh, great.
And I always had trouble with chemistry class. That was one of the classes I really didn't do very well in.
And you still have trouble with it.
Now I know why. It's because my intuition wasn't really clicking on it. It didn't really work properly. So
because I know
in some of my other works, I've talked about the Dr. Robert Moon model of the atom, where the geometry that I was just showing you in that fluid occurs inside the nucleus. And it's built from what? Protons. It turns out that protons are
it's all about the protons, Terry Joyce.
Sort of the same as the close packed spheres in those diagrams I just showed you in terms of how they build geometry. So now, if you think back to the pictures I just showed you, I'm not going to jump back to them, but that's really what's happening inside the nucleus.
Yeah, he's telling us the proton theory is wrong.
It's like, oh, okay, so protons are individual building blocks.
Every scientist is wrong.
This sacred geometry.
He knows how the universe really works.
So it shows up in so many weird ways, and I think the crop circles were really trying to alert us to this. They wanted us to be aware
no college
credit. The fascinating relevance of this to our own lives, that we are surrounded by this geometric information. And then again, the question is really, okay, David, you're talking about a fluid that's vibrating.
Oh, now this makes me mad, Terry. And you're about to get super chats. You should thank every single person that sent you a super chat. So somebody said, Crypto Crusader said, somebody sent him a $250 super chat during this, and he didn't even mention it or any of his super chats. He gets thousands of dollars, Terry Joyce, in one live stream. He doesn't even say thank you for the super chats. Not once. He doesn't read any of them. He doesn't acknowledge them. He doesn't thank anybody. But he gets thousands of dollars of super chats in one broadcast.
Doesn't seem, it's not right.
Yeah. And he's crying poor now and begging for money. Like literally in the last stream, he was begging people to buy his crap because he needs money.
House. Get out of that mansion.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's made millions of dollars. Corey Good said that David Wilcock made $4 million off his last course. What happened to that $4 million that he's broke now? He's crying broke and he needs money so bad.
Nah. And where is his, I mean, I'm learning now that one of the paradigms of having a business or is giving a portion of that back to a good cause, to something good, like that helps other people. Yeah. And people want to invest in companies that do that. That's like a new paradigm. That's right. Well,
yeah. It's called being socially.
Who is he giving back to?
Nobody. He collected $170,000 for his charity and didn't do any charitable work. You know, but he's on to the next scam. That was a few scams ago. The David Wilcock Spiritual Empowerment Foundation. Terry Joyce, he collected $170,000. They spent $4,500 one year on meals and entertainment. And he bought a lot of software, equipment, supplies, office supplies. They gave a tiny, tiny little portion. I think we worked it out to like 1% of the money he took in, he gave to other charities. the rest of the $170,000 that he collected over a few years for his charity, he just spent on him and his wife. He just spent it. He bought stuff.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
He's spending it at the costume shop to play dress up in his goofy ass dreams.
And the gay bash.
And the gay bash people, yeah.
Didn't
Well,
he say
Terry,
it was $88 or something like that?
Yeah,
88.
he spent
the number
$88. Yeah, on
Interesting.
his costume. I know that you got to get out of here soon, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Just let me know.
I've got like.
Yeah, I can finish listening to this clown myself. It's good. The main reason, here, we'll stop this for a minute. The main reason, Terry Joyce, I wanted you here is two reasons. I wanted to try to help you get over that finish line, and we did that tonight. I'm going to take a look, but pinned in the description, pinned in the live chat, friends, is Terry Joyce's YouTube channel. And it looks like you're at least 1,004. I think that's got to be more than that. More people probably went and subscribed. It says 1,004 though.
Great.
But, yeah, a few more people should go over there and subscribe. Maybe a lot of them already were, but we've got 180 of you here. So if 10 more of you could go over and subscribe to Terry Joyce's channel, she'll know she has the buffer she needs and won't fall back under the threshold, so she can file her paperwork. And she's going to be praising the cash. Praise the cash, Terry Joyce. Praise the cash. I'm glad that we
thank you for doing this for me. It's really, really nice of you.
It's the least that I could do. You've always been a good guest.
You know, and thanks for having me on. I always have fun. I always love doing your show. And thank you for those of you who have subscribed to my channel. Say hi. Just, like find a video and go, hey, it was me. Or when I live stream next time, let me know that you came from Steven's show. So that would be.
Yeah, let her know. Say, hey, bitch, we're from Truthseekers. Yeah.
I want to do a live stream on Aaron McCullum and then show, some of those videos that James Rinks does when he's like dancing and everything on Instagram.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. You got to send me those because I want to use those.
Yeah.
You got to send me the links because I'm going to make like a montage of that.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, so.
All right. Well, we want to thank you and congratulate you because, listen, I know how hard it was. It felt like it took forever to get there. But Terry Joyce is praising the cash. She is over 1,000 subscribers. Now, what you got to do is you got to apply to the partner program right away. And then they're going to send you a little card in the mail and you have to verify your identity and stuff. But then they just turn it on and you can start collecting super chats and getting some ad revenue. And I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. You worked real hard to get there.
Thank you.
All right, Terry Joyce. Well,
all right.
You have Bye. All right. Bye-bye. All right, friends. So we're going to finish the show solo. The main reason I wanted Terry here is two reasons. Like I said, to congratulate her on getting over the hump and to help her a little bit. And we just gave her that last little push. She's worked incredibly hard to get there on her own. She's an independent content creator and she's a one-man army, a lot like me. I have a little more help with Spooky doing graphics, but Terry does a good job. And she's continually trying to improve herself and her situation. She went back to college recently. So go show her some love and subscribe to her channel. We're going to get back to the David Wilcock Clown Show now.
I mean, I think people might have gotten caught up on this or confused by this in some of my previous talks, but the bottom line is that the geometry itself
Thanks, Philharmonica.
Is consciousness. It is the energy of mind. And you say, well, yeah, sure, you can make that statement, David, but that sounds really, really arbitrary. No, it's actually not arbitrary at all. We have scientific proof because that's what I'm all about.
It's a sandwich.
Maybe the fetish whip, but it all depends on which show you want to see and what time you show up, But hey, I didn't write the rules.
Oh, I forgot. I almost missed this one. Thank you, Zizix, for kind and generous $2 and also for being a YouTube channel member. We appreciate your kindness, generosity, and support. And we want to thank you for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
And let me make sure that I didn't miss any more. We'll get caught up in the live chat. Okay, we're all caught up. Yeah.
Look, so
Thank
here
you
we
for
go.
kindness.
Do you ever feel afraid?
Oh my God! How many commercials does this guy have in his goddamn streams? They're like every 3 minutes. There's a goddamn commercial. I'm sorry, friends. I should have downloaded this video and uploaded it commercial free so we don't have to go through
This was a
this.
thing that showed up in, I forget where it was exactly, but you can look this
Yeah,
up
he's
online.
a scientist. Yeah.
Look up the title. It is totally an amazing, amazing article by Signa Dean. The human brain can create structures in up to 11 dimensions. We found a world
Thanks
we
for
had never
sharing
imagined.
that. I
This is a
appreciate it.
mainstream media publication.
No, it's
So
not.
when we look in on this, what we see on the left is the
Scientific
network of
points.
neurons.
Yes.
Looks like some kind of
Scientific points.
painting, right? That's probably worth. If Jackson Pollock did. Jackson Pollock did that painting. It would be very, very expensive.
Oh God, shut
But
up.
in this case, it's just neurons, and maybe his brain was so close to the painting surface that he just painted his own brain. We don't really know. But anyway,
Look at this. This, he says, is from a mainstream publication.
you have these colorful neurons, rainbow colored. Hey, everybody, you got to
Oh, he's gashing, making fun of gay people again.
put it up in your nose. There's all these special techniques. Okay, it's very important. We're going to be training you as we go along. So on the right, what we have here is the geometry, which their computer modeling actually showed. So let's get a little bit closer on that. So as hard as this might be to believe, folks, what you're actually seeing here
Imagine that.
is a diagram
David Wilcock's going to say something that's hard to believe. What we're seeing here is a diagram
of this geometry that they found inside your mind. What do you mean geometry inside your mind? I mean that your brain is built to have these bundles of neurons that naturally cause these geometric patterns to form where they're firing off all the corners of the bundles at the same time. In other words, looking back on this again, the geometry moves as a shape. It rotates, it spins.
Oh my God. Yeah, we know this.
It's not just sitting still.
But he takes something that's real from science and then he connects it to all kinds of other nonsense that's totally not related.
These are actively in motion. And then what you see there along the edge is kind of like the event horizon. So we're going to get into even a little closer here, and you can see, sure enough, definite octahedrons, definite what looks kind of like star tetrahedrons, some other very interesting shapes. I mean, this is what's actually happening inside your brain.
This is David's brain on magic geometry. Urine. He's got magic urine.
How could a geometry be in all these different places at the same time? How could it connect into all these nodes of neurons as if it behaved as a single unit? Well, this actually suggests that the shape...
Oh, thank you if you did that, Sarah. I'm sorry. I don't get notice of that in my live chat, so I didn't see that. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. 2 more people just became members and get some extra benefits and a member badge. Thank you.
Itself is the thought. And that as you, in the process of thinking, you are creating these geometries. But I want you to hear it from them, not from me. So
yeah,
again,
I agree, the watcher.
Here's the title slate. And now it's from sciencealert.com. There's the link. Okay, we finally got it. It says, science discovers the human brain works in up to 11 dimensions.
You're right. He's tap dancing around the missing hover car.
Used a classic branch of math in a totally new way to peer into the structure of our brains. What they discovered is that the brain is full of multidimensional geometric structures.
All right, I'm going to have to address something in the live chat. No, it's not like a Subway. Subway is gross. Cheesesteaks are delicious. It's chipped beef. They take a big slab of beef and they chip it all off, and then they fry it on a big grill, sometimes with fried mushrooms, sometimes with fried onions, fried peppers. And then they put it on a fresh, big, long bun with cheese of your choice. I like American. Other people, they do it with Cheese Whiz. A cheesesteak and Subway are 2 different things. Now, Subway has something they call a cheesesteak. It's disgusting. It's not a Philly cheesesteak. Just you can't mess with Philly cheesesteaks with Philadelphia people. And for those that are confused, yesterday while Spooky was here, I took Spooky to a local place called Nifty 50s that has burgers and cheesesteaks.
Wait a minute. The brain is full of multidimensional geometric structures. Structures of
Somebody
what?
is, oh boy, structures.
We've
Oh,
autopsied
structures.
brains since I don't know, whenever Diocletian and those guys were doing it back in Greece. You know, it was kind of a cool thing. But okay, we don't find geometry. In the brain.
You're right,
We don't find
Crypto
any
Crusader.
little,
You're absolutely
right. So what is this? Well, again, it has to do with.
I like those
numbers of
as well.
neurons
I like those with lamb meat.
visible geometric pattern that you don't actually see.
Oh, see again. What is that? How many goddamn commercials does he have in one stream? It's so ridiculous. We're only gonna finish another 20 minutes of this, and then tomorrow or the next day, probably the next day, we're gonna do a different show tomorrow, and then we'll do a part 2 on this to get through it all. But before we do the part 2, I will download it and upload it without
Why
commercials.
crop circles were telling us to focus so much on geometry. This model was produced by a team of researchers from the Blue Brain Project, a Swiss research initiative devoted to building a supercomputer-powered reconstruction.
Yeah, here's where he gives us some real science that's not bullshit, but he's going to pile bull all over the top of this.
Of the human brain.
And connect a bunch of gobbledygook new age nonsense to it.
So that's what that illustration was. That was the supercomputer printout, the round edge of the thing, if you remember. It's like a fractal. It's like an event horizon. And the geometry is blossoming out of that.
What the hell is algebraic topology?
The team used algebraic topology, a branch of mathematics used to describe the properties of objects and spaces regardless of how they change their shape. They found that groups of neurons connect into cliques. Here it goes. This is what I was talking about. And that the number of neurons in a clique would lead to its size as a high-dimensional geometric object, which is a mathematical concept, not one in space-time. But it still has a tangible reality. I mean,
this guy just like troll the internet for weird science stuff to connect to his garbage?
I mean, you could say it's only mathematical.
I think that's
but
what he
there
does.
is a geometry that exists that's exerting force in multiple areas related to consciousness. So as this thing rolls around, you are thinking. As you ponder a thought in your mind, this geometry is rolling around. And they'll say this in just a second. So we found a world we had never imagined, said the lead researcher, neuroscientist Henry Markram from the EPFL Institute in Switzerland. Here he is.
Well, none of this is surprising because I don't know if you're aware of this or you've ever heard of it, but do you know what the most complex thing in the universe, in the known universe is? The most complicated and complex thing in the known universe is the human brain. So, of course, there's always going to be new and additional discoveries that they didn't know before.
And here he is posing in front of a brain.
A picture of a brain, not a real
So
brain.
he says, we found, or this is from Catherine Hess, actually, another researcher on the team.
Oh, man.
She said, we found a remarkably high number and variety of high-dimensional directed cliques and cavities, which had not been seen before in neural networks, either biological or artificial.
Yeah, because only a very tiny percentage of the human brain has even been mapped.
Algebraic topology is like a telescope and a microscope at the same time, said one of the team, mathematician Catherine Hess from EPFL. So again, the idea here is that there's higher dimensional...
He's always so proud of himself. Like, I found this strange science stuff, and this means that the rest of the shit that I'm talking about is real. No, it doesn't.
Shapes.
No, it
in the
doesn't.
brain.
Doesn't mean that.
It's very fascinating. So here's Catherine Hess, and here she is at EPFL. You know, try to stay awake through the conference on algebraic and geometric topology. I dare you.
Well,
Try to stay awake as she writes these equations.
Nobody wants to hear it. And by the way, Mr. 180 IQ, tell us what those equations even mean. He has no idea what this woman is
on the
talking
chalkboard.
about.
I dare you. You know, but you know, if you've studied it enough, you'll understand it. So then they say it can zoom into networks to find hidden structures, trees in the forest, and see the empty spaces, the clearings, all at the same time. Those clearings or cavities seem to be critically important for brain function. Geometric cavities are critically important for brain function. And then again, it says, when researchers gave their virtual brain tissue a stimulus, they saw that neurons were reacting to it in a highly organized geometric manner. So
yeah,
if you
because
actually
the brain is an organized system, you dummy. Of course it's going to
build the brain in a supercomputer and you do everything exactly the way the brain is made, and you
There's a lot more slides to get through, friends. I just previewed.
emulate it as much as you can. Oh, wow, everything is geometric. What's
Oh,
going
look
on?
at that.
The neurons are way too organized.
I almost missed it. For those that are unaware, if you become a YouTube channel member here during a live broadcast, we give you a shout out and a thank you. And we thank the High Lonesome for becoming a member. The High Lonesome just became a YouTube channel member. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. We want to thank the few people, including Sarah, who My Flock is Everywhere, who have been buying memberships and just giving them out in the live chat. Very kind and generous of all of you. We want to thank you, Patreon supporters, and you YouTube channel members and Twitch subscribers. Thank you all, and you super chatters and PayPal friends. We thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and this really helps us. We're a viewer support show, and we got to praise the cash and keep this show going, and we thank you for your kindness.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
We are definitely praising the cash today. And while we are here, we also want to thank sweet, sweet Caroline, who sent a wonderful $50 PayPal pledge and says, I've been slacking on praising the cash. This is for all the amazing shows you've worked so hard on. Kudos, Stephen. No, thank you. Sweet, sweet Caroline, big time show supporter, long time show supporter, big supporter of the show. Always throwing those big bills into the hat here. We love and appreciate you. Thank you, sweet Caroline, for helping us.
You're watching Truthseekers. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
That one's for you, beautiful. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Nice, and they're all behaving like they're in a group. Well, again, we talked about how this geometry shows up as a vibration. So thoughts are vibrations. That's the idea. A particular thought has a particular note, if you will, that is its signature. And that signature...
I don't think this guy knows anything about neurology. I don't know, just based on my knowledge of neurology. And by the way, I got an education in neurology when I had a brain aneurysm. I became fascinated with neurology and how the brain works, and this, thoughts or frequencies, not really. I would argue against that. Brain waves have frequencies, but specific thoughts, who knows?
exists throughout the universe, and it will always be there. You as a soul have a particular note and a particular signature that will always be there. It is as if the brain reacts to a stimulus by building and then tearing down a tower of multi-dimensional blocks.
Only a few more slides.
Rods of
Thank
1D,
God.
then planks of 2D, 3D cubes, and then more complex geometries.
Let me address that. Stavati has claimed that they're building a hover car. They haven't built anything yet. And David Wilcock is claiming that he's going to use someone else's patents that are not owned by him or his company to build that hover car. That's what he's claiming. That would be completely and totally illegal, but that's what he's claiming, Keith Cowell. And so far, all we've seen is 3D printed G.I. Joe toys. We have not seen any actual prototypes. We have not seen even a model that works and can prove that he can do either free energy or anti-gravity. All we've seen is a course full of nonsense from him, in which people paid $333 to listen to him talk about cobbled together nonsense from all over the internet about free energy and anti-gravity. There we go.
5D, etc. said one of the team, mathematician Rand Levy from Aberdeen University in Scotland. So here's Rand Levy.
Here we go with these. Jeez, God, how many does he have in one stream? Every 3 minutes, there's a YouTube commercial. Every 3 minutes. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, or I would have downloaded it and uploaded it to, an alt source without the commercials in it. Jeez, God. And by the way, I know as a YouTube content creator, you get a start roll, an end roll, and a mid roll automatically. And that's all we put in. In other words, they'll put a commercial right when you click on the video. In the middle of the video, there'll be a commercial. And then at the end of the video, there's another commercial. Start roll, mid roll, end roll. In order to put commercials in every 3 minutes, you have to go into the video and put commercial, 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 commercial. And let's be very clear, friends. This man is claiming that he's in contact with divine sources, the Archangel Michael. And this is what his YouTube video is supposed to be about, but it's really about Buy My Crap, my book on the Archangel Michael prophecies. But, just think about his narrative for a moment. He claims that he's in contact with the Archangel Michael, and the Archangel Michael is telling him to do things like take baths in his own piss to get superpowers, but also predicting the future with and for him or something. And this man who thinks he's in contact with angelic beings who have important information to share with mankind makes a YouTube video, and then he goes into the video and says, you know what? I'm going to load this bitch up with as many commercials as I possibly can every 3 minutes so that I can make as much money as possible off of my angelic contact with the Archangel Michael. This is how you know this is all a grift. When the Archangel Michael should come down from heaven and strike him down for loading up his commercial talking about the Archangel Michael with commercial, 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 commercial. Load him up. Put as many in there as we can. Me and you are going to make lots of money, Archangel Michael. We're going to kill it. Just keep loading ads into my YouTube video. It's absolutely ridiculous that anybody would believe that this man is in contact with angels. Would angels say, load up your YouTube video with as many commercials as possible so you can make as much money as possible selling my angelic messages to those stupid humans? No. And by the way, I'm just a man. And I may be incapable of actually understanding the nature of angelic beings. But one thing I know in my heart is that if an angel of God really had important messages to share with humanity, they would just give them. They would just deliver them. They wouldn't use a medium like a disgraced ancient aliens theorist clown who's been caught pushing, let's see, court-martialed child molesters, completely and totally fake government whistleblowers in the form of Pete Peterson, who lied and said he worked for Ronald Reagan when he didn't, and secret space clowns in the form of Corey Goode. An angel would not give messages to that clown to give to humanity. Not to give to humanity. David Wilcock is essentially saying that the Archangel Michael is giving him messages to sell to humanity. Do you see the flaws in this whole facade? And as we peel back these layers of deception, we see the real David Wilcock, a profiteering whore who will do and say and use anything as long as he keeps getting to do these YouTube videos where people throw thousands of dollars in super chats at him, and he never even thanks a single person, never even reads a single super chat. And then he loads up the ad with just as many commercials as he could possibly get YouTube to accept. in order to sell the messages that he's getting from the Archangel Michael. No, friends, I don't think so. So let's get back to this. We're going to finish just a few more minutes of this. 15 more minutes.
And again, the key is that the progression of activity throughout the brain resembles a multi-dimensional sandcastle that materializes out of the sand and then disintegrates. This is very, very different than our conventional view of the brain. And yet it all lines up with supercomputer modeling.
I'm going to start,
what happens when you build the brain inside a computer.
I'm going to do a course. I've decided. I am going to do a course, and it's going to be called How to Do the Cosmic Con Grift. And I'm going to teach everybody how these grifters make millions of dollars selling bull. That's what I'm going to do, sweet Caroline. I think that would be a success. And it's only going to be $332. I'm going to give everybody a $1 discount because I'm so generous.
Computer. It's all about geometry. And then the question is, why do they say 11 dimensions? Well, for their term, a dimension is a point. So I'll show you this in the next slide. So,
Archaeal Revival's going to seduce him with his gay voice.
Bottom right here, you see what looks like a pentagon, and it says 5 neuron click. So those 5 neurons are what they would call 5 dimensions. That's what.
Okay, well, if you'd like to argue your points of why the not only an archangel, but the top angel of the one true God would come to David Wilcock and give him messages to sell to humanity, we can have a serious discussion about why that is completely and totally batshit crazy from any perspective, from a philosophical perspective, from a theological perspective, from a morality perspective, from an ethics perspective, from every perspective, selling for profit, selling messages from the Archangel Michael to stupid people is wrong. It's just wrong. And it makes no sense. Why would an archangel allow himself to take part in that kind of for-profit whoring of angelic messages or divine prophecies? The truth is they wouldn't. No angel would take part in a scam with a new age scammer. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. But there is a great deal of biblical scripture that would prove that I am correct in my analysis of these events. But you're free to think whatever it is you like. That's the beauty of the world.
What they're doing. Each point is a different dimension in this system, but yet it forms into one spatial object. So then in this next image, we're seeing actually the structures that they discovered in the human brain. I mean, this is really, really interesting that they actually found this stuff. Look at how many tetrahedrons there are, first of all. A1, A2.
Any guy who's this excited about tetrahedrons is a nerd. Just saying.
A3. And you can see with the arrows that they're showing you how the tetrahedron is rotating. And then if you look over there on the right, they've got these larger geometric patterns that they're not making into 3D objects. There's one that looks like 7 points, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a septagon and an octagon there on the right. So they're finding these very interesting shapes.
Exactly. Oh, we've got a believer. And by the way, Keith, you're very welcome here. And we want you to feel welcome. So I'm going to ask everybody not be too harsh or, we want to be accepting here. And Keith's free to have his own beliefs. If Keith really believes that an angel of God would come to a space cowboy grifter who wears sparkly jackets to sell angelic messages to stupid people for money, do you think, Keith, I'd really like to know, do you really think that an angel would help a new age grifter scam people out of money for messages from angels? You really think that's how angels work? I'd like to know. If you really think that, let me know. That David Wilcock is right. Angels are coming to him and giving him angelic messages, which he then dresses up like a clown in a clown suit, bashes gay people, and we haven't gotten to it yet, but then he gives us the big sales pitch: buy my angelic messages from the Archangel Michael. You really think that he's a legitimate person doing something morally and ethically or even legally okay? Do you think it's morally and ethically okay to claim that you're in contact with angels and sell messages from angels, but not prove that you're actually in contact with angels? I have expressed my concern, being of the Christian faith persuasion, among other things, that David Wilcock may indeed be communicating with some form of non-human intelligence. But if anything, it's not angels, it's demons. Do you know who would help a New Age scammer sell fake messages from angels? Do you know who would channel themselves into or diabolically manifest to him? Do you know who would do that? Demons would do that. Demons would help New Age grifter scammers. Demons would lie and say they're angels. And demons would be okay with somebody selling fake angelic messages from angels. So if anything, I have expressed my concern that if he is truly in contact with some form of non-human intelligence, it's likely demonic. This is my opinion based on my analysis of this situation. And this situation, let me hammer this home. The situation is that a New Age grifter, con artist, scammer who's been caught in multiple situations where he's selling completely and totally fake information is now claiming to be in contact with the Archangel Michael and is selling those angelic messages to stupid people. That's the situation that we are currently in. And I just don't understand how anybody could believe that this man is legitimate, that this man is actually in contact with angels, that God and the angels are okay with him, taking that contact and making money off of it. Because, that's what God really cares about. And that's what the Archangel Michael really cares about. That David Wilcock's got some messages from angels to sell stupid people. I'm sorry, I don't think so, Keith.
It's in the mind. And so here's a close-up on that image of the tetrahedrons. And they're actually showing how they rotate and they spin. And this one really blew me away because obviously where my eyes are drawn to is the top left. So many crop circles have shown us illustrations of...
Keith, no, I haven't taken any of his courses, and most people here probably haven't. $333 for a bunch of nonsense? Oh, Keith Cowell. He's a true believer. You think that David Wilcock's courses full of bullshit are worth $333? Let's take the last one, Keith, as an example. He said that he had learned the secrets of anti-gravity and free energy. And if you take my course, you'll be able to do it too. Hey, Keith, can you show me anybody that built a free energy device after taking David Wilcock's $333 course, where he said, if you take my course, you'll be able to do it too? He said that. Who's built an anti-gravity device? Even he can't. Even he hasn't. Neither has anybody that gave him the $333. So you know what that last one was? That the last thing that he was selling before this shit he's selling now was? That was a scam. That was a scam. And we're on to the next scam. We're done with the hover car scam, and we're now into the angels are giving me messages to sell the stupid people scam. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves.
Octahedrons like this, that sacred geometry was illustrated in grass. And I went out there in 2000, what was it, 10 or 2009. I went out to the crop circles and I took a tour out there with about 30 people. And we had really, really stunning results because...
Again, he said he had discovered the secrets of anti-gravity and free energy. And if you take my course, quote, you'll be able to do it too, unquote. If you cannot find me, did you take that course? Build me. If you took that course, show me the goddamn anti-gravity device that you built after taking this clown's course. He said you'd be able to do it too. Show me the free energy device that you built after taking this clown's $333 course. Show me the proof that he did not just scam people out of millions of dollars for fake information, garbage collected, unproven nonsense from the internet, and patents that haven't been proven to be real workable technology. Show me the proof or evidence that he wasn't lying through his fake teeth. You can't. He said he'd have a working hover car prototype in a year. He didn't. Do you know why? Because hover cars aren't real. They come from science fiction and the land of make-believe. And that's where we're at. But David Wilcock is half in the land of make-believe and half in reality. He goes to the land of make-believe to pull out all this garbage he sells people, and then he comes back to the real world and sells people the land of make-believe. He never has evidence, he never has proof, and his wife left him. Why did his wife leave him? If he's so psychic, why did he not know that that marriage wouldn't work out and save himself the financial expense, trouble, emotional trauma of marrying a woman who would divorce him? He's a psychic. Wouldn't the angels say, stay away from that bitch? She's going to break your heart and divorce you? They didn't. They didn't. Because this man, this pathetic man who makes money selling garbage information to stupid people, this man claims to be the world's most important prophet. This man claims to be in contact with God and the highest angel of God. No, I don't think so. And, I'm sorry that your belief, your need to believe in fairy tales is so overwhelming that you would excuse all of what I've talked about here, that you would make excuses for every point I've made here, that you would justify what it is that this man does. It makes me sad for you more than anything.
Because the crop circles are bent, but they're not broken. They bend at the growth nodes. And if you actually study what happens, it appears.
No. It would appear in some crop circles that the crops appear to be bent over, not broken. And in other crop circles, they appear to be broken. So he's making absolutist statements not based in reality. He's cherry picking data to fit a narrative.
That they are microwaved and that water heats up into steam and causes it to bend a certain way. Some of these crop circles have layers that can be up to 4 layers going in different directions. And the only way they could be doing that is to target each individual stalk of grain by itself.
Yeah. Crop circles, it's an interesting mystery. And while I have seen some evidence of some strange effects inside crop circles, I haven't seen any evidence that aliens made crop circles. But I have seen an overwhelming mountain of evidence that many crop circles were made by people. So again, this is pseudoscience, and he cherry picks things to fit some narrative.
Like, let's say they grab 10% or 20% and they all knock them down that way, but the rest are still standing. Then they do more in another way, more in another way. There's been eyewitness reports of crop circles forming where they just roll out into the...
You're correct. I should find a better word. I just get angry that people would give him money for this kind of garbage, and it makes me sad. I shouldn't call anybody stupid. So Billy Hicks is absolutely right, and I apologize for every time I've ever said that on this broadcast or any other broadcast. Going forward, I'm going to say vulnerable, needy people. That's what I'm going to say, because I think that David Wilcock's customers are vulnerable, needy people who are in some form of distress. and they need something to believe in. So you're right, I shouldn't say that, and I apologize, Billy Hickson. Thank you for the reminder.
Into the shape that they're in. Some people have heard a high-pitched chirping noise. Some people have seen a small white orb. If I'd known I was going to do all these crop circles, I would have brought these slides in. But again, I like to leave it open to wherever
he likes to leave it open so he has room to do the gay jokes.
The talk wants to go, and I don't necessarily know that in advance. That's one of the beauties of being an intuitive. So I just take it where it wants to go. And if that's a fetish whip, that could be where it goes. If it's a cigarette in my mouth, we've already discussed, I got those too. We're ready to do anything here. So.
Oh, wild and crazy. Oh, and here goes another commercial. Jeez, God. I'm actually quite glad that I did it this way and had to suffer through skipping all these commercials, which I apologize for, because I think it's a very good point. The thing about angels, like, really, the Archangel Michael told you to make a YouTube video and load it up full of every commercial you can, right? So you can make as much money as possible while you're talking to us angels. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
This is a close-up of that geometry, and it's a very, very fascinating thing. And they also say that although the findings provide a tantalizing new picture of how the brain processes information, they don't understand why this geometry is happening. More work will be needed to determine how the complexity of multidimensional geometric shapes formed by our neurons correlates with the complexity of various cognitive tasks. So they just admitted they really don't know what in the world they're looking at. What is this geometry? Where does it come from? Why is the brain doing this? Why do we see this in supercomputer modeling? It's extremely fascinating. And to me,
it's not that fascinating. If you have to keep pointing out how fascinating something is, chances are it's not that fascinating to most people. It's just fascinating to you. Keith says, I don't even know if any of this stuff is real or not. All I asked was for some support other than your emotions about what you're claiming. Well, that which can be presented without proof can be dismissed without proof, Keith Crowell. Why do I have to prove that he's lying? He's the one making fantastical claims, like he's talking to angels. And again, I'm going to ask you for the 5th time, do you really think that angels would tell him to sell our messages on YouTube and make sure you load up the YouTube video with as many commercials as you can cram in that bitch? Do you really think that that's what angels would do and support? Their angels are here to give David Wilcock messages from them to sell to vulnerable, needy people. That has to be what you believe if you're defending this. And if you believe that, I've got bridges to sell you, and I got some oceanfront property in Arizona for you, right? There is a sucker born every minute, friends. I think it's more like every second.
Key goes back to, what did we see that the geometry is? The geometry comes from vibration. And we have all these different spiritual traditions around the world.
The geometry comes from shape. It doesn't come from, but whatever.
That talk about the universe being created by vibration. In the beginning, there was the word, right? So, and the Hindus have the Aum. They tone this sound as the primordial sound. And they believe that that is the way that the universe was created. Well, it definitely appears that way. And I've gone into so much detail about sacred geometry, how the whole universe appears to have blossomed out of a small individual geometric object, which was the sacred tetrahedron we were showing you.
Now he's an expert on Big Bang Theory as well.
So there's a lot to explore here. And the real idea is that when we combine what we saw about DNA manifesting spontaneously in liquid water.
If we combine the fake science thing that all scientists on Earth say wasn't real only one scientist said was real. Every other scientist said it was fake. If we combine that with
what we just saw here, I would argue that the geometry itself is some sort of force field in the universe that is causing
oh my God,
these types of life forms to emerge. It's not only that it's conscious thought, it also creates conscious life. And so life,
Big Bang expert, an expert on the spontaneous creation of life in the universe as well. But he's quoting fake science as proof.
is created by the geometry. The geometry itself is alive. It is conscious. It thinks. It makes biological life. So this is something I've talked about for so many years, this concept
You're
of
correct, Phil
spontaneous
Harmonica,
biological manifestations. There's very strange examples. There's a whole bunch of creatures that we see at both the North Pole and the South Pole.
It's coming. They're building one
There's
for
no
them.
way they could have gotten from one pole to the other. They both evolved on each pole independently, supposedly, but they look the same. That's one of many things I talked about in source field investigations. So now is the time to understand.
I'm not spending $300 on that crap.
There's a reason why you never heard this before. There's a reason why this conscious science has never been presented to you.
Support my claims. I'm not sure what kind of support that you want, Keith. Here is my claims. David, and these are factual. You can look these up. You can look at our previous shows to see all of the evidence. Let's do it this way. David Wilcock has made millions of dollars selling fake whistleblowers. We've got Bill Brockbrader, who was a convicted he was a court-martialed child molester who is now a fugitive from justice. David Wilcock pushed that guy's stories. Then he pushed Pete Peterson's stories and sold his stories. Pete Peterson claimed to be a Russian space expert that worked on the Russian space agency. No, he didn't. He claimed to be an early computer pioneer. No, he didn't. He wasn't. He claimed to beat Apple and Commodore and Tandy to market with the first alphanumeric personal computer. No, he didn't. We checked with computer museums. Pete Peterson was a complete and total fraud who even gave himself fake awards he never won, like the Order of Lenin Award. This man used him as a source, a complete and total fake source, and made money selling that. Then he pivots to Corey Good, who recently admitted under oath that he'd never even been to space. Kind of hard to be a secret space program insider and tell stories for money for 8 years if you've never even been to space. That is this man's history and track record. That's how disgustingly ridiculous this man's so-called secret information that he sells people is. And now he's selling messages from angels. You want me to support my claims? You want me to support my arguments? Those are my arguments. This man has a proven track record of conning people with completely and totally fake sources of information that he claims is secret or insider. When it's not, it's coming from frauds. And now he claims that he's in his new source is the Archangel Michael. And you too can buy messages from the Archangel Michael from him. Or watch his video crammed full of commercials. I'm sure the angels really support him maximizing the commercials on the video where he's talking about his contact with angelic beings. I'm sure they support that. What other way do you want me to support my claims? I have valid arguments, and you have what? What is your argument? I don't even know what it is. Stop. You want me to stop pointing out this man's history of conning people with fake garbage information for money? And, we tried our best to support our claims here. We have arguments. We have evidence. We have a mountain of evidence that Pete Peterson was a complete and total senile old man fraud that never did any of the things David Wilcock claimed he did, right? We have a mountain of evidence for that, and he has not a single shred of evidence that Pete Peterson was not a fraud. We win. I don't need to support my claims because we've got a mountain of evidence on our side to prove that his claims are false and his so-called whistleblowers are frauds and fakes and liars and scammers. Pete Peterson ran and participated in stock pump and dump scams. That's fraud. That's a crime. So great. He's using criminals for sources. A court-martial child molester who's now a criminal who is on the run from law enforcement. A pump and dump scam artist who's dead now, but he's still using them for a source. But I need to support my claims. It is a fact that this man uses criminals for sources. It is a fact. You want me to support my claims? Go ask Shipley, Don Shipley, real Navy SEAL, about Bill Brockbrader.
We have been sold a bill of goods of
we've been
scientific
we're
paradigm
definitely
that is
getting
deeply flawed.
Sold a bill of goods here.
And we believe that we live in some type of material-centered universe where particles are reality. It turns out particles don't
You
exist.
may be right,
Particles
Patrick.
are
That's
really
interesting.
vibrational emanations of geometry. As I said, the protons around the nucleus of the atom,
Delusional.
all that fits together
Yes.
when you start doing the close-packed spheres. We now know that there are preferential shells in the atomic nucleus that favor sacred geometry.
I think it's science and technology.
So why would I also bring
I'll
in
take a look.
Archangel Michael and the soul's destiny into this talk? We've already been going for nearly an hour, and I haven't really mentioned Archangel Michael yet. Well, let's say that we take the knowledge.
He said it. I didn't need to. He's been talking for an hour, and he hasn't even mentioned the Archangel Michael yet. 52 minutes, actually.
Of this geometry appearing in the brain and go a little farther out on the limb. Let's say that we are willing to argue that sacred geometry appears as a living information, that it has instructions, that the consciousness itself, the neurons are not what we think they are. We believe thoughts are created in the brain.
Oh my God, he's an expert on neurology, the Big Bang Theory, everything.
The brain really only seems to be like a catcher's mitt. And what is it catching? It's catching this geometry that comes in and rolls around. So what if the geometry is your soul? The geometry is who you really are. It's just a way of measuring it as a vibration, because this is what vibration looks like in a fluid. When you vibrate the fluid, if you have these tiny little sand particles in that Cymatics thing I showed you.
I agree, Patrick.
Normally, if you're not vibrating it, it's just muddy water. But when you
gotta vibrate it, so it's not just muddy.
Crystallizes into this geometry. It's incredibly fascinating. So, with all that said and done, the geometry exists apart.
I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I'm catching up in the live chat. Friends, my flock is everywhere. The kind of generous $5 super chat says, great show, Stephen. Praise the cash. We're stronger together. Stay epic AF. Family. Yeah, thank you. And thanks for helping us. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All of you for your kindness, generosity, and support. I'm trying to catch up here in the live chat. I don't know how I get so far behind. You guys are really chatting it up in there, though. I'm glad to see everybody's here. Thank you all for being here. We're having a good time. If you're just joining us, you're watching Truthseekers, and we're going over David Wilcock's Gay Bashing and Angels stream. That's what we're going to call it. Gay bashing with angels.
From your brain. This is where we have to take a bigger leap in logic, is that when your body dies, you are not dead. Your consciousness continues to exist, going all the way back to Dr. Raymond Moody in the 1970s, many other studies since then. It is an absolute, unequivocal scientific fact that near-death experiences occur, that people remember details of these experiences.
It's a scientific fact. Well, I don't know if it's scientific, but it is a fact that people have some kind of experience. Yeah, I guess I'll give him that.
When they're brought back, and the details can be scientifically corroborated in many cases. I talk in the book about an example where somebody floated out of their body on the operating table and they saw a shoe on the top of the building.
I hope they're not talking about, I hope he's not talking about Daniel Brinkley, that other grifter he worked with that kept dying and writing books every time he needed money.
How could that have gotten there? They described
That's the
it
near-death
precisely.
guy.
And then they sent the maintenance crew up to the roof, and sure enough, the shoe was exactly where they saw it in their near-death experience. Even more outrageous is cases where people have a near-death experience, they travel to visit someone they love, they talk to them, and then the person sees a ghost, and they're interacting with an apparition. But then the apparition goes back to their body, they come back to life, and they remember the
That's
conversation
fair, I guess.
and all the specific details of what was happening while they were a ghost.
Yeah, he couldn't start a fire. Smarter than
And
Einstein.
this also gets into another scientific piece of data that I didn't have a slide for, which is Dr. Peter Garyaev's amazing DNA phantom effect.
Oh, no.
If you take a piece of DNA and you put it inside a small room and you make it as dark as possible, there will always be a certain number of photons that appear out of
That's
the
true,
quantum
Phil
vacuum,
Harmonica.
and those are called virtual photons. But virtual photons do not just stay where they are in the room.
You are
If you have
correct.
DNA in there, all the virtual photons go into the DNA. The DNA, believe it or not, captures light, thousands and thousands of photons, and it holds the photons inside the DNA molecule. And there's a very, very long and fascinating discussion we can go into about biology. And
he's an expert in biology, in DNA, in quantum physics. He's an expert in everything.
Why your DNA holds on to light. It does appear that your DNA shoots out photons with specific frequencies in them.
You're
as
correct.
a type of biological code.
That is absolutely
like,
true.
Oh my God, what the heck is cancer? How do we solve the mystery of cancer? Well, back in the 1970s, the cure for cancer was discovered. And it was discovered by Dr. Fritz Albert Popp, P-O-P-P. What did Dr. Fritz Albert Popp do? He actually studied carcinogens, and he said...
This is actually... So we're gay bashing and we're providing medical disinformation in the same stream. That's 2 community guideline strikes. Just to anybody keeping track. Yeah.
Is there any common denominator that makes things carcinogenic? And it turns out that there is. Carcinogens all absorb light at 280 nanometer wavelength, which is ultraviolet. This is the wavelength that your cells use when the DNA holds on to photons.
Fake science.
It preferentially captures 280 nanometer light.
It could be real for all I know.
So when you have
like
a
bullshit to me.
carcinogen,
So
it actually stops your DNA from being able to hold on to those photons. Your DNA is stripped of light. And then what happens is that the light cannot get out to the cell.
Algoray, this guy is crazy.
Because normally it would shoot out a photon.
This guy
is... photon has information frequency that tells the cell to stop reproducing.
A few cigarettes short of a pack, this dude.
So the cancer cells keep reproducing because you don't have the light to tell them to stop.
Oh, so
why is it?
All you need to cure cancer is to shine flashlights on the cancer so that your cells have plenty of light. This is medical disinformation, and it's a community guideline strike.
The miracle cancer cure always involves wheatgrass, juicing, getting good nutrition, getting this plant nutrition. That's because a human skin only has 10 photons per square centimeter that come out, but plant cells have 1,000 photons per square centimeter. Plants are loaded with photons, and when you eat vegetables, you're actually ingesting the light inside those cells, and that light is then fed through your digestive system and your bloodstream. Because remember,
I'm going to have to ask the nutritionist if when you eat vegetables, you are eating the light inside the vegetables. I'm not saying he's wrong here, but that just sounds like nonsensical ramblings of a crazy person. And by the way, that would be another great thumbnail. We're collecting them up tonight, friends, for future Wacky World of Wilcock episodes.
Oxygen is in your blood. There's a lot of oxygen in there, and that keeps a habitat apparently for this energetic nutrition. So there's all these fascinating things where Dr. Fritz Albert Popp found that yes, we do know what cancer is caused by. It's caused by this light absorption. And therefore, if you target getting the light back into the body, then you can create these miracle healings. And so there's Russian science.
Why does no online source say that's how cancer is caused? Right? It's like everybody on earth is wrong, but David Wilcock knows how cancer is formed and what the real cure for cancer is. And
that involves, for example,
all right, David Wilcock,
rats that were given a toxin called alloxan that kills their pancreas, and then they're given new light from another pancreas.
Yeah, now that I understand.
Laser beam,
now that I understand. That I will agree with. Stephanie the Willows, she's kind of a crystal hippie bitch. I think she's qualified to give us the truth on this issue. She's a crystal hippie bitch. They like vegan shit and all that, right? Holistic nutritionist here. No, it's more like to give us energy, not light. I agree. But I will say that I think, there are certainly some foods closer to alive that you eat, like raw vegetables, is probably better in different ways than processed cooked food or stuff, right? I mean, but to say that we eat plants and the light inside the plants gives us energy is nonsensical.
Their body, but it has pancreatic vibration in it. And then their body regrows the pancreas and they no longer have diabetes. So this all is the very primitive steps of what ultimately leads to things like...
Yeah, and I would just say, I don't think he's talking about fake science all the time. Sometimes he is. The other times he's talking about fringe, unproven science. So...
med beds and lots of cool technology.
Oh,
and
do you think he's going to start a medbed scam? He just mentioned medbeds. The medbed scam is coming next.
Again, geometry is the key. That photons themselves have geometry in them.
Well, you're welcome. And just so you know, Keith, we kind of look at these things from a critical perspective here. So if you just want to hear fairy tales about aliens and angels, there's channels for you to do that. But we like evidence, but you're still most welcome here. We like evidence and we like deconstructing the grift, if you will. What's really taking place here? Is this man really in contact with angels who told him to sell their messages on YouTube, or is he a scammer and a con artist? That's what we are exploring tonight. Other nights we explore different topics. But you are most welcome. Don't feel unwelcome if you disagree or are a true believer who likes the alien fairy tales. You're welcome here as well.
Captured light, and the light is geometric. When we look at it, we capture it under a magnetic holding.
Yeah, I don't know where he gets all this.
I'll show that to you in the next show. But the whole idea
med scam incoming. Yes, it's coming.
Thoughts now starts to get even more interesting, because what if the geometry is even more intrinsic than we are? What if the vibration itself, in its innate building block material form as geometry, what if that's really even a deeper and more intrinsic form of life?
You're probably correct, taxpayer.
So these are just some of the building blocks that go into what I've done in the new Michael prophecies. I have written incredible amounts of new stuff in the author's preface sections about this geometric model and how it applies to multidimensional consciousness, how it applies to explaining the zone of energy that our solar system is going into. This same geometric...
That's funny. Michael, the Archangel Michael tried to call him, but he unplugged his phone to find the beeping. Yes!
Science actually explains why we're going to have a solar flash after 25,000 years. That we are drifting into a cloud of very advanced energy. So in book 2...
Yeah, and people in the live chat, Here comes the pitch. And actually, we're going to stop it right here for tonight. This people in the live chat are expressing their concern that he is spreading false medical information about cancer. And people in the live chat are concerned, and rightly as they should be, that people who are afflicted with cancer might listen to this clown and not seek the proper treatment because he's spreading false hope and false medical disinformation, which is very dangerous to do. You guys know my stance on these things. I always say, consult your healthcare professional. That's where you get health advice from, not from me. David Wilcock is literally dispensing fake cancer information on a live, monetized out the wazoo live stream, public on YouTube, monetized out the wazoo, filled with commercials. He's making money spreading false information about cancer, we think, false information about nutrition, we think, and of course, false information about angels that he's talking to, we think. This is par for the course with him. It's just, this is what he does. But the fact, you know, as a YouTube content creator myself, I'm all for freedom of speech and many, many things, but you can't give people medical advice. You can't give people nutrition advice. It's dangerous. And I also would submit to you that giving people giving people spiritual or religious advice is equally dangerous if you don't know what the hell you are talking about. And I don't believe that David Wilcock knows what the hell he is talking about. We went so far from gay bashing to fake pseudoscience to nutritional disinformation and fake information to cancer fake information and disinformation. And now he's getting into the buy my crap pitch. You know, it's like, oh, you just bashed an entire protected class of people, right? You just gay bashed people for 15 or 20 minutes at the start of your stream. Great. Then you gave us all terribly bad nutritional advice. You gave us some fake science to support your arguments. Then you gave us terribly bad medical advice about what causes cancer and what, you know, no, you're not a doctor. And then he's going to pitch, buy my crap. So what person's like, you just gay bashed people, we're totally wrong about nutrition and and then you're totally wrong about what causes cancer and everything else. Why should we buy crap stuff from you? Angels are talking to a guy who's wrong about literally everything he's talking about. Angels sought out him and gave him secret messages for him to sell on YouTube. The guy who's wrong about literally everything he talks about. He's wrong. He is just wrong. But he's talking to angels, and them angels want him to sell their messages to vulnerable, needy people who desperately want something to believe. And David Wilcock is going to load everybody up, load all these listeners up with the fear, and then give them the love. Through my love, you'll be okay. Through my love, it's all going to work out. Just buy my crap. Buy my crap. Buy my crappy books. No, I don't think so. So, I'm going to take a few comments and questions from the live chat. Tomorrow night, we have to do something else. And then maybe the next night, we'll go over the last hour of this, most of which is I'm talking to angels buy my crap pitch. So that'll be fun, right? Crypto Crusader says cult leader vibes. I agree. Yeah, and Billy Hicks is just mentioning that many people disagree with me here, but they still come here and we're all friendly and we can all have an experience together. Billy Hicks says, for instance, I strongly disagree with Stephen's stance that we shouldn't be allowed to give medical advice. I believe any and all advice is part of true freedom of self-responsibility. Well, that's a complicated issue. I just mean that if somebody is really sick, especially terminally ill, Billy Hicks, and you are not a healthcare provider or a medical professional, I think it's irresponsible, right? For you to why should people listen to some rando on the internet and not a real educated doctor? That's all I'm saying. And for myself, I don't like it when people give me medical advice who are not my doctor. In fact, I wouldn't even like it if a doctor that wasn't my doctor gave me medical advice. I have a doctor that I trust and that I really do like and admire. I think he's a great doctor. So if I have something going on with me, I have a guy. I got a guy for that. I got a great doctor. I don't want to hear from unsolicited. I don't want unsolicited advice from people who are not him. I only want advice on that from him. People should understand and respect that, I would think. Yeah. All right. David will come out of the closet in a few weeks or months. Do we think so? That might be part of the scam. Trust the scam, right? Trust the plan. The scam. The plan. It's a plan. It's not a scam. It's a plan to make lots and lots of money from vulnerable people. And I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast talking to Terry. By the way, congratulations, Terry. She is at over 1,050 subscribers, which means she's got her buffer. She's in the money now. Thank you all. I appreciate that you guys went and did that for her. She works really hard, and she should have at least a chance to make a couple of bucks like all of us on YouTube. And by the way, I just want to mention that I think we're up to 6 or 7 YouTube content creators that I have brought on when they were close to getting monetized and helped them get over the finish line. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just mentioning that because I believe we were speaking about David Wilcock here, and I think it's important to just recognize this thing called karma, which I am a true believer in. I really am. And that which you do comes back to you, right? Some people believe that which you do gets amplified and comes back to you. So if you do a little good, a lot of good might come back to you. If you do a little bad, a lot of bad might come back to you. If you believe in the amplification, I'm not sure I do. I do believe in karma as an overwhelming, all-powerful, equalizing force in the universe, though. And I myself have experienced many karmic things. I've experienced times where I made bad decisions and I did things that were not so kind to people. And then somewhere down the road, sometimes karma takes a long time to revisit. I paid the karmic debt for those things that I had done to those people that were undeserving of the way that I treated them, or the decisions that I made, or how I affected them negatively. And that those things would be revisited on me. And at times I would feel the connection. A lot of times this equalizing force has almost a sense of humor, if you ask me, but I truly believe in this karmic thing. And I truly believe that when you do good, that good gets revisited upon you. So one of the reasons that I try to help everybody that I can, and we're up to 6 or 7 people that we've gotten over that hump and helped get to those magic numbers. I'm just trying to get good karma, right? And goodwill towards some of the fellow content creators out there who are struggling. And let's be honest, this is a struggle. This is like a war sometimes to keep this thing going and to have the passion and the power and the drive and the glory to do this show every day. It's humbling to me. It's very humbling to me. And I always try to remember that struggle is real. And it's not just a struggle for me, it's a struggle for anybody who has the courage to try to do something like this. So we try to do the good thing and help those struggling. And I hope I do it a little selfishly in the hope that good karma that I've created, those good feelings that I've generated in others for being kind, for being empathetic of their struggle, for saying, I'm in a position where I could help you, and I will. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm in a position where I can help you, and I will. We can choose to be selfish. We can choose to be self-centered, or we can choose to try to be the best versions of us that we can be. Isn't that a more powerful purpose, to choose to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be? I really think so. And I would like to think that karma is an equalizing, all-powerful force in the universe, and that which we do does revisit us. So whenever possible, I will try to do the right thing and do good things and help people if I'm capable of offering that help or assistance, because after all, there but for the grace of God go I. And someday I will need someone's help. As humans, we are frail, strange creatures. And there's always times in our lives where we can't do something alone. We need somebody's help. We need a friend, right? And we need guidance or support, or sometimes we just need somebody to talk to, a good listener who will understand our situation and console us. And these are some of the things that I think about when I think about these people who are just shoveling money at David Wilcock. The concepts of, how to do some self-work and, just be a decent person. Can we just start with that? Just be a decent person. And a decent person shouldn't have to give some clown on the internet $333 to hear messages from angels to feel good or feel better about their lives. I don't get this, and so I am sorry for saying that stupid people give David Wilcock money, or that David Wilcock sells things to stupid people, sells fairy tales. It's not. I just am so frustrated with the people who are enabling him and funding a millionaire's lifestyle for him from this level of garbage that he is pushing into people's minds. It just boggles my mind. And then I get frustrated and I get a little angry and I say, how can people send this guy money for this? This is the nonsensical ramblings of a crazy man at times. And I'm strangely still fascinated, strangely still wondering, what is this clown going to say next? What is he possibly going to convince people to buy next? Right? Because so far people have bought the year 2000, we're all getting superpowers. The year 2012, we're all getting superpowers. Those mass arrests are coming any day now. The anti-gravity and time travel are real, and I can teach you to do it for just $333. And now he's selling you messages from angels. I think it's significantly less than $333 this time. Is that progress? Right? Davina TK is here. We'll take some comments and questions from the live chat. Wilcock is desperate for money, so he grifts, knowing there will always be people who give him money. Yeah, I truly believe that. And I have heard somebody that worked with or for him or heard him talking about the fact that it's a numbers game. If you've got 5,000 people watching, all you need is 100 of them to sign up for that $333 course, or 1,000 of them, or whatever. You don't need that huge an average to make a ton of money when your products are so expensive. And it's so funny to me that his products are so expensive. His courses are so expensive, and they are so worthless, right? So worthless. Like, quite honestly, if he was selling these courses for like $9.95, I wouldn't even bust his balls. Like, if people want to pay $10 to listen to this nonsense, go ahead. But $333 is, some money, right? Wow, Stephanie and the Willows, I do remember that. Stephanie gave me a reading which said that I would be blessed with money because I'm so giving. And I didn't think about that reading until just now. We've had a moment of synchronicity. We'll be selling me and Stephanie's new course soon. It'll be $332, right? That is kind of strange, Stephanie. Yes, doing a YouTube channel is hard work if you were any good at it. I absolutely, positively agree. It is hard work, and I'm so happy for. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys who went over and subscribed to Not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce. If you haven't already, gone over there and subscribed. Pinned in the live chat on YouTube is Terry Joyce's YouTube channel link. So just click that link and hit that subscribe button and help her. She's on her way. She's going to raise cash now, right? And I'm so happy for her because she, like a lot of people, she's been grinding trying to get to those numbers. And I hope that tonight, Terry's a good person, and I hope that tonight we made Terry's journey, which is a difficult journey, I hope tonight we made Terry's journey just a little bit easier, right? That's the least that a friend could do for another good person and a friend. So we thank you, Terry Joyce, and we congratulate you. I better get some cut of that money, Terry Joyce. Just saying, Maria Rose says, I went over and subscribed to Terry Joyce's channel. I've seen her on Truthseekers, and I like her. Yeah, I like her too. She's a great and funny girl. And I bust her balls a lot. And before I get any messages, I was kidding about her being drunk and all that. She knows. She's a comedian. I bust her balls, and we have a lot of laughs. Every time she comes here, I laugh a lot. And that's a good thing. Billy Hicks says, Stephen Canby and I knew David was a fraud when I checked his website and saw the special discount counter clock ending soon, then checked the next day and the counter just resets itself. Yes, and by the way, Billy Hicks, that marketing is illegal. You're not allowed to lie and say that an offer is limited time when it is not. So that is illegal. Yeah. Sarah's gonna give me, all right, you gotta pay the Vic, Yes, you don't need to. I just wish you the best of luck and success in the future. And I hope that journey going forward is a little bit easier, because maybe I have a couple bucks in the till now, Terry Joyce. And when you need something, you won't have to be all stressed out. Terry, I remember when I started, I needed, Terry, I remember when I started, I can't remember. I needed new headphones constantly. And like every time I needed headphones, it was like this big thing, like, oh man, I got to buy 2 pairs. This is going to be like $70. Like I got kids. But it's nice when you get that money in the till, and then when you need something, you just take it out of there. And it takes a little bit of the stress, the stress of life off. And isn't that a good thing? Yeah. So congratulations, Terry Joyce. Philharmonica says Terry seems really cool. Yes, she is subbed and going to check it out. Good. Absolutely good. Yeah. So we've done our due diligence for this evening. We'll be back tomorrow night, either with the part two. Maybe we'll do the part two tomorrow, but I'd rather do something else tomorrow and come back to this other half. But we'll see what shakes out tonight as far as tomorrow's show. What I can tell you is that we will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another round here. And I'm working on a new series that I hope will debut soon. It's on non-human intelligences. And we've got a new sort of format worked out for that. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow evening. So we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. We want to thank our wonderful guest, Terry Joyce, and congratulations on hitting the YouTube monetization numbers. So happy for her. We want to thank you, Patreon supporters, YouTube channel members, super chatters, you super thanks people who sent a couple of bucks watching the replays, you super sticker purchasers, PayPal pledgers, and Twitch subscribers. We want to thank all of you for helping us to praise the cash and supporting the show. We want to thank our chat room moderators. Thanks to the wonderful Spooky who made tonight's thumbnail while on an airplane. Or no, I think Spooky was just at JFK International Airport, continuing the Cabal tour. So Spooky, I think Spooky's somewhere over the Midwest in an airplane right now. Safe journeys to Spooky, and thanks for the graphics. And thanks to Mr. Ian, and the man with the golden voice. Thanks to our chat room moderators, all of our supporters, and thanks to all of you. We want to thank all of you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for tonight, that's all I got for you, folks. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
All these ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place.